Adding someone up here real quick, everyone. I don't know who this is. All right, who's this? I wonder who this is.
Hello,
bro.
What's going on?
How was your night so far, man?
Oh, it was just phenomenal. Things on the main were going great for about 31 minutes.
Yeah, crazy. Hasn't happened before, huh?
Never
Definitely a new
before.
occurrence. Never before seen. All right, well, we're going to be having some peen debates here tonight, everyone. We're going to be on here for a little bit, everyone, and then we're going to be moving over to the live battles. So at least 2 hours left on the live here, everyone. We're going to be going here, so make sure to tap that screen. We got 3.6 thousand people in here. If y'all tap that screen, we can easily get to 1.5 million likes, and it'll help get out to more people and make this live more entertaining. We're going to get someone up here real quick for Dean to debate real quick, everyone, because I've been debating people all day so far. Again, if you disagree, if you want to debate, send a guest request right now. If you want to support us, Venmos and Cash Apps are in the bio. Everyone will get 100% of the proceeds if you do send it there, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you,
right.
Jaden? Hello?
I don't think he's here.
All right, we'll get to the next person. Only send a guest request if you disagree, everyone. We just are looking for some debates, everyone. Only do send a guest request if you disagree, y'all. I need to give you the ability to like add people to the live.
Heck yeah, I got you if you do. In the meantime, guys, while Parker's looking for our next, contestant of the night, make sure we're tapping away on that phone screen. Share the live with a couple friends. Make sure to hit both of our follow buttons while you're
Hello, can you hear me?
To add guests. Yo, what's up, Haldy?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, do you think that being gay is wrong or immoral?
Yes.
All right,
Okay,
for sure.
why?
I'll let you talk to Dean real quick. I'll be right back.
Very nice. All right, why do you think it's wrong or immoral?
Hey, Dan. I've got 3 points. Hopefully, you can let me talk them through, and then
Let's hear 'em.
I'll hear your counterpoint. Okay, so
Tracy, thank you for the $10 over Cash App.
great. Three points. Point number 1: inherent exclusivity. The gay identity, by definition, excludes those who don't fit into the gender binary framework. So it's a form of prejudice that ignores and invalidates the existence of non-binary and genderqueer identities. 2, enforcing binary norms.
Wait, here, I'm just going to stop you there, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the first point. You're saying that being gay somehow invalidates non-binary people. Can you explain to me that again?
Yes, the gay identity is the decision that you as a person are attracted to and will pursue relationships with only somebody who is identified as the same gender as you. And that, by definition, excludes people who are gender fluid, gender queer, and potentially people who you may be physically attracted to as a straight person. Yes, absolutely. Being
straight's wrong?
are both wrong. Yes, both being straight and gay are both wrong because they validate non-binary experiences.
So wait, I have a question. Right? Is it so if someone doesn't find me attractive, is that invalidating? Because they're excluding me as a person they can find it as attractive?
No, this is bringing me to my second point, which is enforcing binary norms. Gay identity enforces a binary view of gender, directly contributing to the marginalization of trans and non-binary people.
Can you please just relate to what I just said? Like, I asked you a very specific question. Can you just even tell me what the question was?
The question was whether someone being not attracted to you is somehow harmful or invalidating to you and your identity as a person.
Because you were claiming that if someone doesn't find a particular group or community attractive, that necessarily means it's invalidating, right? So I'm just going to ask you the question as to why that the lack of attraction in the scenario is going to indicate some sort of invalidation.
And then also, being gay wouldn't necessarily imply a lack of attraction towards individuals who would not fall within the binary norm that is set precedent here, apparently.
No, it absolutely does. Being pansexual or being having another label which is inclusive of non-binary people is something that would be more inclusive than being gay. Being gay is a very strict binary of being attracted to someone of the same gender as you.
Yeah, but being pan wouldn't be descriptive to who they are, right? They don't find people of all different genders attractive. It is the case that they find people of this particular gender, right, or this particular genitalia attractive, right? And I don't think that excluding people when it relates to those particular things is some invalidating notion, right? As it is the case that I don't think that someone is entitled for me to be attracted to them, right? I don't think it's wrong for me to say that I'm only attracted to women, right? to say that I'm not attracted to men. I don't think that's invalidating. I don't think that's exclusionary, right? And in a sense in which I would see to be harmful, right? I think it is completely justified for me to have that preference, right? If you think that everyone has to be pan or everyone has to be bi, it seems like what you're trying to do in this scenario is you're trying to force sexual preferences on people.
No, let's use a very specific example. Say that there is a person that you are attracted to who is gender fluid and currently presenting as the same sex as you, as a gay person. And later, if they present differently, you have to, as a person who is stated to be gay, exclude your possibility of a relationship with that person once you find out that at certain times, even times when you're not around the person, that they present as or represent themselves as a different gender.
No, you just
Not
not be
necessarily.
attracted to that necessarily. Like, I mean, like, I don't see a reason. Like, if someone presents a particular way that you don't find attractive, right, that's completely valid for that to be the case. But I don't think that's entailed given the scenario, right? Like, if someone presents it, like, for example, right, if someone presents, like, you're saying that if someone presents in like a way in which is like masculine when you are attracted to things in which are feminine, you think that that is something that I ought to be attracted to?
No, I don't think that it's something that you ought to be attracted to. You can be attracted to whatever you are, but whatever you would like to be attracted to. But if you want to maintain the label of gay or the label of straight, you have to, once faced with the reality of somebody's gender identity, decide to not engage in further relationship with that person.
I just wanted it to be like denoted that your argument has to do with the perpetuation of norms and consideration of sexual orientation, and the only individual perpetuating norms and consideration of sexual orientation is you, by saying that gay people have to be attracted to X, Y, or Z in order to uphold said given sexual orientation, right?
No,
so I'm
no,
just generally going to
there's a
denote said
slight
sexual
difference
orientation.
there.
One second. I just said like I'm generally going to denote like the said sexual orientation of being gay as having or relating to same-sex attractions and only same-sex attractions. And if there's an individual and who would fall into this category and does not share attractions outside of this category, this is not perpetuating any harmful notion of exclusion. If anything, upholding respect for their attractions is just upholding respect for individuals' preferences, desires, and especially consent in this certain regard. So I don't think that like we should, if anything, disrespect people's sexual preferences in said manner, because that's probably harmful in of itself.
No, 2 points.
Snickering Dog,
One,
thank you so much for the $50 Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can we get a W for snickering right now, everyone? Thank you so much.
First, you asked whether or not I am imposing upon someone who is gay that they have to be attracted to someone of the same sex. I am not saying that they are exclusively required to be attracted to everyone of the same sex. They can be attracted to a different subset or specific people. But to get to the bigger definition, and what I think the issue is with what you're saying is the language of exclusion. The term gay, as you are presenting it here, is not the term as used. The term as defined in the culture and universally, the term gay has become an exclusionary label that must be critically examined and redefined in order to align with our current understanding of the gender spectrum. The term gay and the understanding that gay is same-sex attraction only implies that there is such a thing universally applicable as a gender that is
I would say that this just implies an attraction. So if I'm a gay man, this is going to imply that I have attraction to the male genitalia, and as opposed to the female genitalia in all cases, which I find
this
to be
is not the
evidently true.
definition of gay. I don't know where you're getting.
I'm talking about implications that would arise from this definition of same-sex attraction, right?
You're
so it's
using
like
the wrong
I don't
definition,
see how like this like the binary sense of the
Wait,
attractions.
Headley. I don't know how there's a wrong or right definition, right? And also, like, you actually
Culturally,
acknowledged that there was some exclusionary. You also acknowledged that there was some exclusionary notion of sexuality that you referenced that you thought was justified, as you said it wasn't wrong for someone to not be attracted to all members of the same sex. Because if you're not attracted to all members of the same sex, that would be an inherently exclusionary sort of method, because you're excluding some members of the same sex.
I'm saying that the terminology gay, as agreed upon by society, it does not denote that particular implication, and there's no evidence that it would.
What implication
It's not.
again?
It's the implication that a person who assumes the label of gay is attracted to only people and all people of the same gender. That's not the definition. That would be exclusionary, of course, but that's not
Wait, that's not the
that
definition
anyone
I
is
operate
using.
on.
Yeah, that's not the definition anyone operates on.
Did we say that?
Dean
When did
did.
we say that? When no one ever made no one Dean didn't he didn't make the
No.
claim that people had to be attracted to all members of the same sex. Like what?
That was the point that he made a few minutes ago. You can go back.
What?
That
No.
I'm reporting against. Okay,
I have this recorded, but sure.
No, the
Kimberly, thank
claiming-
you for the Venmo. Julie, thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it.
Harrison, I appreciate that Venmo.
He said all
you sent me
members
earlier.
of the same sex, attracted to all members of the same sex.
What?
If you want to retract that, or
No, I never
that you didn't
made
say
this
it,
statement.
then
I think
we can
what I more
roll that
so
back.
was asserting was like a necessary prerequisite for said attraction in relation to some conception of like sex, such as like I don't know, like genitalia. It was just more so like a consideration of like the categories in which like an individual would fall under as far as what they are attracted to. Like a gay man is
So,
probably going to be.
I
only
think people are
attracted to
getting
the
mistaken
genitalia.
with this. Like, we were responding to you because you were saying that like this notion was like inherently exclusionary. So we were saying is like, is there some sort of sense of obligation to be attracted to these individuals, right? Because
Right.
you're saying that like it leads to like marginalization of communities for us to be exclusionary in terms of our sexual attractions, right?
It's the flip side of that. It's not that you are required to be attracted to people. It's that if in the scenario that you are attracted to a person who ends up not conforming to your definition of the gender that you're attracted to, and you assign the label gay to yourself, then that label no longer applies. You would be violating that label.
Wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, we don't dispute that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. You're so correct about that.
So,
are you
denying
just saying that
oneself
like
the
the
possibility of
terminology?
attraction. Okay, here let me lay it out really clearly to you and
Wait, Headley.
if you're a person who has,
here's what it is. Here's what it is. No. Here's what you're understanding. They're not denying the notion that they could be attracted. Someone is saying that they're gay. They're describing what their sexual attraction is to you. Okay. They're not saying I rule this out. They're saying that's just not what my attraction is.
let's go back to the definition, the example here of you as a gay person meeting a genderqueer person who is currently presenting as gay that you have physical attraction to. That person is not gay. That person is not the same gender as you. Yet you are still attracted to them.
Are you just saying
that
that
a gay person is not able to be attracted to someone who is genderqueer but yet presents as male?
So my notion of gay and straight would be related to like genitalia and social cultural norms that are fulfilled, right? So if they have like the same genitalia, right, then it is the case that I'd probably refer to that as like gay, along with like the social and cultural norms being established.
Right, it's
So
just
those
like
would be
traits that
two
are
things I would
typically
take into
associated
account.
with.
Yeah, but they're not. There's like there's no principled view when it relates to that. It would just be like contextualized.
So, to take this in a controversial direction, would you both consider that being racist is wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wrong, obviously.
And so, if you are prejudging and deciding people to put them into categories based on your perception of them and then acting on that based on your presupposed belief that race X is this way and should be treated this way, race X is this way and should be treated this way, that is wrong, correct? And in fact,
because I don't think there are relevant
race,
differences. Yeah, so
Right.
I don't think that there are relevant differences when it relates to race, but when it relates to things like gender, or when it relates to things like me and Dean, right? There are relevant differences that we could say and we could describe between us, right? But we don't see
Does
relevant
race
differences when it relates to.
have. I apologize for cutting you off.
No, because race realism is terrible. Race does not have relevant
Does race
differences.
have does it correspond to a physical reality? I would claim no. It's a social construct, right?
Right.
And
No,
so
the ideas
you
and
are
the concepts, like the
implying
words we use to describe things, are socially constructed, but we're applying it to things in which necessarily like we see or we observe, right?
Yeah, so like the
And
idea
people
of
who do not
races, like the
fall
descriptive language
cleanly
used
within one line or within one bucket or the other, people who fall within not one race or not one not one based on your interpretation of this would then be faced with different realities based on the perception of other
Diane,
people.
thank you for the $20 over PayPal, Diane. I really appreciate you.
Did you hear our response, Dudley?
Racism, yes, I heard the response. So racism is, in general, taking people, applying an arbitrary bucketization on them and treating them differently based on something that does not correspond with an actual reality for the borderline people. It may, there's a general term like, yes, somebody may look white or be considered white. They might have a certain genetic heritage or be considered black within the American context and have a certain genetic heritage. And then people who don't necessarily fall into those categories. I'm claiming here that the labeling of yourself and your sexual orientation as gay or straight is explicitly drawing lines in a blurred space. And drawing a line in a blurred space is a way to cause people who live in that space to be marginalized in one way or another. Whether it's and this is generalized. This is across the entire society, not just one person.
Can you explain to me how me saying that I'm straight is marginalizing someone? Just explain that to me.
Denying oneself the possibility of attraction outside the strict categories echoes harm.
No, I'm just no. I'm not. Hold up. I'm not choosing to deny myself of that. What I'm saying is that I don't have that.
Yeah, he's just describing his
what you're
attractions.
actually assuming. No. What he's assuming here is that sexuality is a choice. Okay.
No, I am not assuming
I have
that
the ability to
sexuality is a
choose
choice.
and to refrain from this particular set of attractions. Right. I am not able to do that. Me, when I say I'm straight, I'm describing what my sexual attraction is to you. I'm not dictating what it is.
Parker, you're lying to yourself because you can be attracted to people who are not explicitly female in their gender presentation. There are
I don't think
people.
I cannot be attracted to penises. Is that okay? Is that a legitimate standpoint for me to have?
Okay, bringing biology into it is completely
Headley, answer
going
my question.
off the rails.
I cannot be attracted to a penis. Okay, is that
so?
An
You're saying that all males
have
penises? Are you saying that all males have penises?
I'm not making any claim about that. I'm saying I cannot be attracted to a penis. Is that wrong? Is that bad? Is that exclusionary? Is that marginalizing? What's up?
Are you saying that you are only attracted to women or you are only attracted to people without penises?
I'm saying this is what I'm telling you right now. I'm not attracted to penises.
I can only be attracted to vagina.
So that is necessary but not sufficient for you to call yourself straight.
Okay, can you answer my question? Like, I like how you're evading my question when I'm asking it very specifically.
I agree that it's not prejudicial.
Is that marginalizing anyone?
Or marginalizing to have a physical preference based on biology. But for you to say that you're straight is not the same thing as to say that you are not attracted to penises. And that's going to be a huge aspect about it,
people. Actually.
This is hugely harmful to males without penises because it's marginalizing those people. You're leaving them out of the conversation.
How?
You're saying that straight involves
how I just related to
sexual gender, physical gender.
No. That's not how I defined it. I actually brought my definition up earlier. My definition of straight and gay is going to relate to the attracted genitalia that one would be attracted to, right? And like social and cultural norms, right? Those things would be relevant, right? I'm not describing it based upon either sex or the usage of gender. It's only on those things.
Okay, so let's be very clear then. Are you saying that your definition of straight is that you are both, that someone that you're attracted to would have to satisfy both those criteria or either one?
Yeah, so I'm attracted to femininity and I'm attracted to vaginas.
And are you attracted to people who have both those qualities, or can you be attracted to somebody who has one but not both those qualities?
It would be both those qualities.
So in that way, you as a straight person would be excluding the possible, or for claiming that is equal to being straight, would be claiming that every person who is straight would have the same criteria, which is definitely not the case.
Wait, no, he's
I'm
just
saying
he's
as a
just
straight,
describing.
I'm just saying as a straight man, I have this criteria, right? This is what
Gotcha.
I find attractive. I'm not saying all have to be this way. What is specifically marginalizing anyone about this particular set of preferences that I have as a straight man?
Your set of preferences as an individual are not marginalizing. Taking the label of straight and applying those same rules to it, that would be marginalizing.
Okay, so you have no issue with
Terminology of
like,
gay, terminology of straight.
Okay.
Both of those terms are wrong.
well, we're going to use it either way. We're going to use
That's really disingenuous. You're setting yourself up so that you can't lose these debates if you take that definition of saying, is being gay wrong, is the same as, oh, well, what I'm actually arguing is certain aspects of being gay, or that some people who are gay, some actions or, characteristics of these people, those are wrong. And that's the straw man that you're fighting against every time that you have this debate.
I don't even know what you just said there. I couldn't make sense of that.
I mean, would you say that that's a fair statement? Like, yeah, we're debating.
No, so I just want to ask him, like, what should I call myself? Right? I'm not straight, apparently. I'm not going to stop using this terminology. What should I call myself?
You're a person, and you have a very,
Yeah, I'm Parker.
Oh my God.
So real.
and you're
So I'm
and
Parker
you have
sexual.
a very unique and individual set of attractions.
I'm Parker sexual.
And personal biology, and yeah, and if you want to say, oh, I'm straight, that's
Marginalizing
that's an
people.
approximation. I mean, and it's fine to give yourself that label, but to
But you think it's marginalizing. So you think you ought not marginalize, right? So you think you ought not consider yourself straight. That's your view. You ought not consider yourself gay. You ought not consider yourself straight. So
Absolutely.
then, like, what terminology should I
like,
use in place of this? No
I
terminology.
think you ought
I should
not
just get rid
consider
of it.
yourself a white supremacist. You ought not consider yourself a racist. You ought not consider
Why does that?
yourself gay.
Why is that the
You
same
ought
thing
not-
as considering yourself straight or gay? Like, I'm sorry, but like, how is that comparable?
He's also like you're assuming that like these labels are used in a prescriptive manner, right? So like, I feel like this is going to be like the big disagreement. Like when Parker or I say that we're straight, this is not a prescriptive definition of who we are and as we exist. This is a descriptive definition of attributes and qualities associated with our experiences.
I absolutely agree with that, and I think using a label such as straight or gay, which has these negative implications, if it were to be applied universally, it's a very bad approximation of what your sexuality really is, and it's one that is harmful.
I'm not making an approximation on what I am attracted to. I know for a fact that I am attracted.
I don't think it's harmful, and it is useful. Like, you're just literally saying that it's not
It definitely is useful.
I consider myself straight. So, like, in the context of someone like, in the context of someone who's a man, right, hitting on me, what should I say in response? Right,
I'm not
to
attracted
indicate
to
to
you.
them that I am not attracted to. I'm not attracted to you.
Just say it. Just say it. You don't have to use some. Either of you calling yourselves straight or gay. You can do so. It's a bad approximation. It's kind of like a little.
I'm not approximating.
It's disrespectful for doing it.
I am not approximating what I'm sexually
Me calling
attracted to.
myself straight is disrespectful. Actually, like, dude, this is like actually like so ridiculous, right? It is not disrespectful for me to consider myself straight. You have just gotten so engulfed into the internet that you have failed to go outside and touch grass, unironically, right?
Ironically.
Like this is a standpoint where you just need to go outside, touch some grass, right? Move around, smell the grass, smell the aroma, right? Interact with some human beings, socialize, right? Because this is fucking ridiculous. Honestly, I'm gonna be totally fucking real with you. This is chronically online. This is
online. But this is not winning a debate.
This is the definition of being chronically online.
This is ad hominem to win an argument because you haven't engaged.
It's not an attack on a character.
Chronically online too, but this is just taking it to the next level.
I know
dude.
it's not an attack on character as well. It's a description of character, man. Like I don't know, just interact with the world. The label, like in summation, like the labels we use to define different sexual orientations are highly useful in describing the external world, and there's no good reason as to why we should not use them. And
and using racial categories is a really great description that you can use. That's very useful.
Yeah, so calling yourself straight is somehow the same as being a racist individual, right? Can you please explain to me the logical parallel?
No, using the term racism.
No.
It's being straight is not the same as being a racist. The term straight is it's categorically similar to
in what capacity?
That when you think of somebody who describes himself as gay, straight, or racist, the implication is in society that those people have formed particular notions that they apply on other people, and that is the way that they interact with the world.
They have formed particular notions that they apply on people. You understand that you do that in the context of morality? What are you saying, dude? What? That is incoherent. That is absolutely incoherent. What are you doing, dude?
I thought I'd just have fun because everyone always debates you from the right on this topic, and so I thought I'd come up with
I'm actually concerned. Like, do you actually believe this? Like, because like I am trying to like rationalize this and trying to like get what you mean with this. I'm having a really hard time understanding.
I do think these labels are potentially prejudicial. They're helpful to some people. They're harmful to others. I think we could all do much better in the world without these specific labels and aligning ourselves with the ideology behind them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add or talk about?
Nope.
All right. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you disagree, everyone. That was definitely a first. But yeah, tap that screen, everyone. Let's try to get to 2 million likes. We have 3.9 thousand people in here real quick, everyone. If you tap that screen, we'll easily be able to get to 2 million likes, and it will make the lives more entertaining. If you want to support me or Dean, Venmo and Cash App is in the bio. That's the easiest way to support us. We get 100% of the proceeds there, everyone. We're going to go to the next person. Only do send a guest request. If you disagree, we are just looking for some debates, everyone.
And while our next guest is loading up in here, guys, once again, make sure to hit those follow buttons. Welcome in, Mr. Grant. How old are you?
Oh, shoot. How old you gotta be?
You gotta be 18. Appreciate you for coming up.
Oh, my bad.
Have a good one.
Yeah, so we know that's a fetus. Let's go on to the next.
Well, I do have access to the guest requests. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Hello, Judgin. How old are you?
They're not in yet. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18.
Where you were born in?
What's your birth year?
2004.
What month were you born in?
December the 12th. No, 25th, but the 12th month.
I mean, there's congruency in that. Shall we trust it, Parker?
Okay. Parker, can you trust me?
I kind of don't, low-key.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Wildcrats.
I don't either.
Damn, that sucks. Okay.
All right.
I kind of don't, chat.
That was me, chat. I can't lie. All right. Ooh, I want to click a button. Oh, look at that. I clicked it. That's so cool. I've never done that on someone else's live before.
I feel like he might be, but I'm just like, I was just a little like, I'm unsure.
Better safe than sorry, because that's what gets us bananaed. So,
hello.
Very, very valid response. What's up, man? How old are you?
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Birth year?
98.
Okay, for sure.
Nice, man. Do you think that being gay is wrong or immoral?
Yeah, of course it's immoral.
Okay, why?
Like I explained last time,
Are you Lombardi?
What'd you say?
Are you Lombardi? Is that your name?
I don't know who that is.
All right, man. Why is being gay?
It is him. It is him.
Who is that?
It is him. I literally, the voice is definitely there.
Oh, man.
Gosh. I knew it right when you said it. Like, it just clicked. It just clicked like that, you know?
Yeah.
He goes on a bunch of different lives. He trolls really hard. Like, he went on other people's lives, I think, and like literally was like a Trump supporter and stuff. I don't think he actually holds the views.
He came on mine and
how old are
trolled
you?
as a psychic. So, man,
I'm 34.
do you think that being gay is wrong or moral?
Well, if you don't mind, I've been watching Parker probably like over a year now, and I just started seeing Dean recently because through Parker and everything. I didn't even know you could get on here unless you had 1,000 followers, and I don't really make a lot of videos, so I didn't even know I could get on here until like yesterday when I clicked the button. I was like, oh wow, I can actually get on here. But I really enjoy both of you guys. Personally, I don't think that I can out debate Parker. Maybe not even Dean.
Do you think that being gay is wrong or moral?
Yeah, for me, I think it's yes if. So it's immoral if God exists.
Okay. So which God?
I am a Christian, so I do follow what the Bible says.
How do you know that the text within the Bible is accurate at describing what is right and wrong?
I mean, that's a good question. So, like, for me, like, I watch a lot of the lives that you guys have, like, proving God exists and stuff like that. I don't think that you can prove that God exists. I think that you can know God exists, like, through the Holy Spirit and stuff. And there's a lot of different people that would say, like, the fine-tuning argument is evidence for God, or the moral argument.
Hey, Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel. So you just said you can't prove that God exists, but you just know he does. And this is the justification for your claim that being gay is immoral. So what if I can't prove that you're wrong, but I just know you're wrong? Is this justification for you being wrong?
So what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't think that, like, we're meant to have proof here. But, like, we can know. I know that sounds kind of crazy.
I know you're wrong.
No, I'm saying, like, you can know God through the Holy Spirit. That's, like, the only way.
Just like I know you're wrong through what I have faith in.
What do you have faith in?
The schmoly smear it.
Well, like, the thing about, like, when people come on and they say faith, it's like, so you have to know somebody. You have to know somebody first to have, like, faith in them. So, like, I could kind of know you and Parker from, just being on TikTok, and I could try to put my faith in you guys by trusting, like, how you've been with other people and stuff like that. So you can have faith in God once you get to know him. But I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right to say people just have faith in God.
The claim. The claim.
Here, let me ask this,
ahead.
and maybe it'll make it a little go a little smoother, right? How did you get to a point to have enough faith or trust in God? Because you would have to know a bit about God in order to be able to do that. But in order for you to interpret the first experiences that you would quote unquote have with God, right, you would have to have some level of faith or trust to be able to get to that point, right?
Right. Yeah. So for me, like, in 2012, my dad passed away. I was raised Christian, but I wasn't, like, as skeptical. I kind of just, like, everything that I had taken in through that point, I didn't, like, have the tough questions that my friends started asking me. And that's when, like, I checked out Tim Keller, and you guys know the Bible guy that you brought up here one time? Yeah, I really I like the conversation you guys were having with him, because you guys are all, like, really respectful of each other, and I think he's one of the only people that's another Christian that comes on here and, like, has good conversation with you guys. There's this one dude that gets on here and he's like, really, what's up, man?
I think more so, like, what Parker is asking you for as well. You don't have faith. You just know God. and this is your justification for its
Well,
claims.
no,
But it seems as if
have.
there would have to exist a point in time where you came to know God, and the justification in the time before you knew him would have had to have been faith. But I think more so, like, the bigger picture here is that you are asserting that being gay is immoral because the Christian God exists. And then the problems that will arise from this is an internal critique of the worldview from the Christian's perspective, is that there's not a clearly denoted verse in which refers to homosexuality as a sin. And then also, apart from that, there exists like no justification towards the notion that the text within the Bible is accurate at describing what is right and wrong, nor proof or justification for the existence of the Christian God.
Yeah, so like as far as the verse, I know like a lot of people don't like going from the Old Testament. So like New Testament, I know it's in Romans. I'd have to pull up my Bible app to figure out which verse it is. I'm not really good at memorizing my Bible verses. But as far as like I definitely have faith in God. Maybe I shouldn't have worded it like that. I'm just I think there's a lot of evidence for God, but I think that
Such as what?
the evidence that, well, that's what I was saying earlier, like, you know, the fine tuning argument and the moral argument and
Fine-tuning argument?
there's a,
So okay, well, first of all, on the topic of the verses, like we can get into that if you want to. This is like where me and Parker's perspectives on this issue digress, because he more so just talks about the problems with the God inherently or the problems with justifying the God, than I more so stick on like the actual text within the Bible. So like you referred to Romans. So when like homosexuality is referred to as a sexual immorality within Romans, when we actually put it into the context of Greek Roman society, when Paul actually wrote Romans, like we can make a very justified assertion that Paul was talking about temple prostitution and male prostitution, because this was really the only form of quote unquote homosexuality that existed, out of respect for the fact that the Greek lexicon tells us that marriage was only between a man and a woman, and consent did not exist, and a man could use a woman as he wished to, and the only form of male on male in which we observed was prostitution, kind of boiling down to the conclusion that Romans is actually just condemning adultery. But then even apart from that issue, if the notion is accepted, if the Christian God were to exist, homosexuality would be immoral, there fails to exist adequate substantiation or evidence to support that notion that he exists. So I ask you, what is your evidence or justification for the notion that the Christian God exists?
yeah, so I'd have to
Dean,
take
by the
that
way,
one
idolatry.
I'd have to
Idolatry or adultery?
Idolatry.
Is that what Matt said? Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
I'm pretty sure Romans is idolatry.
Okay.
I'd have
That's a
to take
prostitution.
both of the things that you just said one at a time, just because like, dude, I'm not used to like debating on TikTok or anything. Like I talk to my friends and like most of my friends are not Christian, and I talk to them about it, but this is like a whole different thing for me. So I'd have to go one at a time. So like the first thing you said, I've heard people say that like homosexuality, or homosexual, the word's not in the Bible. I've never heard what you just said before. From everything that I've looked into, they're just talking about like a man burning for lust with another man, and there is a lot of other things. There is a lot of other things that they list off in that paragraph.
Right.
And by the way, I want to say this: like when Christians say like, homosexuality is wrong, what most gay people hear is that you're going to hell, and that's just not true. That's not what the Bible is saying.
Just to kind of like stay on track here. I mean, like I feel like I did offer an adequate like rebuttal against like Romans condemning homosexuality, but then I think like the most important part of like my rebuttal was my last statement, that even if we accept the notion that the Christian Bible does condemn homosexuality, like this would be like the necessary presupposition in order for this claim to be justified would be the existence of the Christian God. So that's when I asked you for the proof or the evidence of the Christian God existing. So what is the proof or the evidence or the justification to support the notion that the Christian God exists?
Okay, so evidence, like most people are going to say that the most substantial evidence is going to be like the personal stuff, but that's not really something we could talk about because each person's experience is going to be hard to like really differ from. But I think probably the best argument that, or the one that strikes me the most is probably the moral argument, and I think that's the one that Parker usually talks about with people. And I want to say, like, dude, that's why I wanted to get on here with you. Is like, I don't.
What's
think
the
I can,
evidence?
like, well,
So when he's relating to the moral
getting
argument,
to that.
he's essentially saying that we can't derive objective morals without the context of the Bible, right? But my argument would be is that morals would still be subjective when it relates to Christianity as well, right? Like, for example, right, if God doesn't exist, is there going to be a fact about morality?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
If God doesn't exist, is there going to be a fact about morality?
If God doesn't exist, I think that morality is subjective.
Okay, so there's not going to be an objective fact. So the idea here is then that the truth of morality is going to be dependent upon God, right? So, but if it's objective, it's going to be stance independent, right? It's going to be mind independent. It's not going to be relevant. Like whether or not God exists, that's not going to determine its truth. It would just be that God observes or discovers the truth. Like, for example, right? Like, gravity, right, is true independent of my stances. Whether or not I exist, gravity is going to be there. So it should be the same thing when it relates to morality if it's objective.
Yeah,
right, but not to mention the urethral problem. If the argument for morality is just, well, without the Bible, morality subjective. There exists no problem with morality being subjective, but morality would be subjective even under your own worldview.
That's why I wanted to talk to you so bad, Parker, is because I think that you have a really, really good argument against the moral argument. Like I've listened to it a ton of times, and like, man, dude, like that's why I know I can't out debate you or anything, but like I just really love watching your lives. I think it's really good for Christians to watch like an atheist debate or like an agnostic, somebody outside of them, to keep an open mind. And I think you do a really good job of that. And honestly, man, like if you ever became a Christian, I know you said that you were a Christian in the past, but if you ever like went back to that, like I think that like people would have a really hard time. Like you'd be good for the faith, man. People would have a really hard time debating you.
Izzy, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, but like when we relate to like the moral argument, I just think that like there would be no reason to hold to that when it relates to that anyway, because like just morals under anyone's view is just going to be subjective, right? I don't even know what it means to relate to the idea that morality is going to be objective. There are maybe like a few senses of morality, like morality being objective that like I can try to make sense of, but they're just going to be like also subjectivist because it's going to be like some sort of mental state. So it's still going to be mind dependent. It's just going to be stance independent. So it's kind of just like a weird distinction that isn't commonly referred to on TikTok and would honestly just like not even really like really disagree with my view of it very much.
Can you please like address any of the claims I have made and just ignore me in everything I say? Please,
I'm trying to, man. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I've been wanting to talk to Parker for a long time, and I've come on here a few times, and I'm not trying to like blow off what you're saying. I just like his argument for morality is just really, really good, and I don't think I fully understand it. So I wanted to know, like, do you only believe that morality is subjective then, Parker?
Yeah. I think morality is just subjective. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sound. I mean, if you're an atheist and you believe it's subjective, I feel like you would have to believe that if you're atheist. But
no, you can be like objectivist and also be like atheist. Like there are lots of atheists that I know that hold to those types of views. I don't think they make any sense. Right.
Yeah,
but the same way, I wouldn't think that someone who relates to objective morality under a theist would make any sense either. Like when someone's describing that like God's nature is what determines the facts about morality, right? Well, then it seems to be kind of like vague and hard to really grasp too, right? And it's also the stance that, or the idea that, right, there are going to be truths that aren't determined by God, right? So it's going to add to that idea as well.
So I guess I'll ask Dean this to engage him too. Like, what would be evidence for God? Like, what would that look like?
I don't like it when Christians ask this question for one reason. So I don't think the failure to provide evidence, proof, or justification for any certain notion is made any less harmful for the development of rational beliefs by asking the question, well, what evidence would suffice? You know, it's more like, what evidence can you provide?
Well, no, I'm just trying to get inside your brain to like understand how you think, man. Like to me, this is like, I don't mind taking an L. Like, I just really wanted to talk to you guys. And I think you're both really, really smart individuals. And I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
You know what would do it for me? Divine text written on divine paper over 1,000 years ago that says, I am God and I am real and I made you, and the paper was uncorruptible, or just like some like truly divine miracle. I don't know. Whatever it is, it doesn't exist. I mean, as far as my current knowledge goes.
How would we know that that's God, though? Couldn't that just be like some like super powered human being or like an alien or something? Like, how would we ever know that it's like God, you know?
I mean, we'd operate in degrees of justification. So if there existed some, occurrence, some objective occurrence in which is measurable and observable by all, that defies, the external world as we know it to be the case, this would seem to provide justification for God.
Right, but like, I don't know, man. Like, supposedly, if the Bible's true, which I do believe it, but I'm going based off of what you guys believe too. So like, supposedly if it was true, like Jesus did come, he did perform miracles, and like he lived among people and they did not believe he was God. So like, I'm trying to think, like, if I was really in that situation and he was performing those miracles, I might just think that he's an alien. Like, I might not think, or like maybe he's a mutant from the X-Men.
Yes, I mean, I think you're just trying to talk about like senses of like higher powers that exist that could be compatible with like naturalism. I'm kind of confused where we're at in the conversation though. My point
because the reason I'm bringing this up is because Dean's asking me for evidence as to why we should trust the Bible. Because
Just like, if we're going to use like a given text to, support a notion of harm against a given group of individuals, or to perpetuate a notion in which could harm a certain group of individuals, we should probably have justification for doing so. And in the context of this debate, you should probably have justification for abiding by the divine command of the text, or to justify the notion that it is even divine in the first place.
Well, if you remember, I said yes if. So, like, if God is real and he's the Christian God, then it would have to be the case that what he says would be considered to be good or bad, or to be right or wrong.
There's nothing controversial about that claim. There's absolutely nothing controversial about the claim that you just made. Nothing that you just said is... One second. The claim that you just made, there's nothing controversial about it. In fact, that is a true claim. That is a uncontroversially true claim.
So, like, what do you mean by harm? Like, let's say that, let's say this was true, like that God did exist and it was wrong to be gay. What's the harm that's being caused?
No harm.
Because like I said before,
there's no harm being caused.
I don't think
in that instance. But is this the case of reality?
Well, no, you said something about there was harm being caused. I'm not sure what you mean by, like, what's the harm?
Well, yeah, you are using a belief in which you do not possess justification for, to perpetuate marginalization and prejudice.
No, I'm just coming on here saying, like, the only way, like, there is really no answer to the question, is it wrong or is it right? I think, like, Parker's, and I think you're probably on the same standpoint that...
Are you not attempting to answer it right now?
No, I'm saying, like, you guys both have the same standpoint that it's neither right nor wrong. It just is, right?
There's just no moral ramifications or associations with it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just going to be morally neutral.
Yeah,
Same way being straight's morally neutral.
So yeah, I don't think it's a self-defeating, like, debate, because the only way that it could be wrong is if there was a higher power giving us what is right and wrong. And
prove the higher power. Prove or justify the higher power.
You can't.
'Cause that's what you got to do.
Well, someone might argue from a
cannot-
naturalist view, like different types of things. You can still say that like sex is only in the context of reproduction under a naturalist point of view. It's just people aren't like really common to make arguments like that. There's not really like a motivation, right? But when it relates to religion, people support that because there is a motivation. The book says it, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think the reason I wasn't engaging you at first is because I have watched your lives and I see the way that you engage other people. And like even some of the people in this are commenting that you're being disrespectful. Like,
Me?
it's all right, man. Like I understand
I'm being
that's
disrespectful. What's up?
Well, I mean that's what some people are saying. It's just
How am I being
you,
disrespectful?
well, I didn't say it. I'm just saying like I prefer the way Parker goes about it. He kind of lets people talk more and he's not rushing them to answer the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we definitely have different debate styles. I definitely agree.
Yeah. And that's cool. But I'm just saying that's why I had a hard time answering you at first because I know you're going to rush me and stuff like that.
All right, man. Well, if I don't rush you, can you prove or justify the existence of the Christian God in order to support the claim that you made that it's wrong to be gay?
No, you can't prove that God exists. That's something that, like, if you could prove it, then like everybody would there'd be no point in like God having us here on earth. We'd just all be with him. You know what I'm saying?
So then, do you have any more anything else to add to this conversation at this point in time?
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is there's things that are pointing to God. There's evidence for God, but like,
This is what I asked for.
well, that's why I asked you what would be proof for you. Like I asked you what would be evidence, but like I guess what would be proof? Like,
Well,
and
it seems as
that's
if
what I'm
like
trying-
it seems
that's
as
what
if
I'm
when we
trying
talk
to show
about
you.
proof for something, we're just talking about like proof to a reasonable degree, right? Or to assert the notion that a God is more likely than no God. So, what is the evidence that you have to support that notion?
Have you ever like looked into C.S. Lewis's moral argument?
Give me the argument. If you'd like to have an argument.
Well, I'm terrible at I'll be. That's why I said like I'm terrible at like retaining the information, man. I have to like read something a million times before I can even like know like 5 sentences from it. But
We could do this.
basically, what's up?
If you want to go find his argument and get like a good idea of it, and then like what I do is I even like will sometimes like write down like notes to do with any given position. So if you want to go like unironically study up on that, so like we can have like an intellectual conversation, feel free to, dude. And then we can
I appreciate
continue
that,
this at a
man.
later date.
Essentially what it states is that like morality can't be like objective and absolute if it is the case that moral like evolutionary naturalism is true, right? So that's really all it's relating to. It's just naturalism true means objective and absolute morals don't exist. That's essentially the argument.
Oh, okay. I mean, how would this be a proof for God?
Well, because they would say that they say that like objective and absolute morals do exist, right? But like, I mean, first of all, I would reject that.
Yeah.
I would also reject the idea that like, given the fact that evolutionary naturalism is true, it necessarily entails this. But I do think it's most likely true that it is the case that like absolute and objective morals do not exist, right? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I never heard a good argument for those. I mean, do you got one, Marvel? Do you got an argument for, like mind-independent moral facts of reality?
I mean, dude, you guys, I'm not. I don't have. I don't have a good memory, man. Like I can't like remember everything. There's so
worries.
much information. There's a lot of like videos and like books I could send you that are like
worries.
really good reads and stuff like that. But
Well, do you have any?
I really just wanted to get on here and talk to Parker. Probably maybe when it's about God or whatever. But yeah, the whole thing I'm trying to say is like I don't think that there is anybody that's ever going to be able to get on here and argue that being gay is wrong, because like the only way that it would be wrong is if God exists, and you can't prove that God exists because that would be like that would just defeat it. That would be self-defeating, like the whole like God letting us be here on earth and everything.
Then shouldn't we make it clear that like arguments are defeated when it relates to this, and that like the views like on the other side when it relates to saying that being gay is wrong is irrational? Because it is the case that there are real world implications when it relates to this that still do impact people. And if we do recognize and accept this across the board, that like it's irrational to hold the opinion that like being gay is wrong, or like in gay intercourse is wrong, well, then it is the case that we're going to probably produce like better outcomes for society. Right. So there's education, right, that's also involved when it relates to these types of lives, right? That I think is also really important. Critical thinking skills that I think that are important, that are derived from like people engaging with topics like this, right? And topics like this oftentimes can serve as a medium for us to be able to get this sort of thought process and engagement out to more people.
I didn't actually hear all that because you cut out for the first half. I don't know if you want to repeat it. If you don't, I understand.
Oh, sure, you're good. So like I'm just essentially saying that like this conversation can serve as like a medium, right, for like a I can't even speak. Facilitating. I can't say words for some reason. Like broader communication and critical thinking skills, right? Education, other stuff like that. And then also just like arguing against like bad treatment towards groups and communities based upon irrational prejudices.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And that's why I wanted to make it clear that, you know, like I don't believe that being gay is something that sends me to hell.
All right. Well, I mean, marvelous. I appreciated the conversation, my man. I think we're probably going to get going on to the next guest here, just to, possibly, talk to some more individuals that may think being gay is wrong or immoral. But if you obviously have anything else, feel free.
I appreciate you slowing down for me, man. I recognize that you changed like your tone and everything. I appreciate that, man. I love watching you guys, and I appreciate being on here.
Of course. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, let's go on to the next person. If you do want to support me or Dean, everyone, Venmo and Cash App is in the bio. Also, everyone, tap that screen. Let's run the like button up to 2 million likes real quick, everyone. Also, share the live. Everyone, copy links, send it to a few friends. We're going to go on to the next person here real quick. We're going to see if we can get someone up to debate. All right, Dean, I think you want to talk to this person.
Oh, gosh. I have Red Dog. I
really hope it connects this person. I really hope it connects this person.
I mean, I would be more than happy to.
Yo, what's up, Red Dog? Hello?
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, like I told you before, I mean, how can you prove there's God? Like I said, go to the Big Bang, go past the Big Bang. Well, what's past the Big Bang? Nothing. So what I said before, God must create all this stuff. He created out of nothing, and God was here. And how do you explain that? Now that's the one thing I will not explain for y'all. That's something unexplainable. Who created God? God was here. How did he got here? That's unbelievable.
Ryan, thank you for the $10 Venmo, and Savannah, thank you for the money again.
Now,
so basically, your argument is that God exists because before the Big Bang there was nothing, and something must cause everything. Therefore, that something must be God.
And there's also one more thing. There is evidence. Also, there is another evidence to back up Jesus along the way too. There's enough evidence overseas. Even though you may not be religious, you may not have no King James Bible book or all kinds of Bible books. If you have to have one, go overseas and picture that to the overseas. There's enough evidence over there about Jesus part.
Okay, overseas.
But
so
as far as,
on the first point, so just to talk about the first point, so you basically
the first
saying
point was God existed.
Right. So
now,
basically,
he made his first rules.
One moment.
After he created life.
Red Dog, please, one moment. Please, one moment.
Huh?
So your first point, you're basically asserting, that something had to exist to cause everything in the universe's existence. because well,
It had to be God himself.
every action has
called
a cause. It can have cause
this
itself, right?
divine being God.
Right. So
They do.
basically, I would say that this notion is more so compatible with a naturalistic worldview in comparison to, say, like a god. Out of Occam's razor, I think Parker makes a great point out of this that I've completely adopted. So we see that there can be a creator for the universe that exists in the same sense. One moment,
And
Red Dog,
he's
please.
never gonna go away.
Red Dog,
He made
please.
heaven. He made all this. So, but he's
moment,
high
please, Red
power
Dog.
still.
One moment, please, Red Dog. So, yes, a fundamental set of particles can explain the existence of all in the same way that a god could, given the properties of existing in an eternal nature with the necessary properties to give
He's the one.
emergence to
He's
the
the one creating
universe.
everything out of. He's created everything out of nothing. He's the only one creating everything out of nothing.
No, what I'm asserting is that, okay, we see the first cause under the Christian worldview to be the God, and, like, this is going to be the cause that explains all, but, like, nothing caused God, because God has always existed. He's eternal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we could also say is, the first cause under the naturalistic worldview could be a given set of fundamental particles, and this given set of fundamental particles is the cause for all, and they have the necessary properties to give way to the cause for all in the existence.
There were no fundamental particles from the beginning.
Well, they assume the particles
after.
No, the particles would assume the same notion that your God would. So when you tell us that, well, God existed forever, and then he caused the universe into existence, I'm saying, well, these particles existed forever, and they caused the universe into existence, and that we seem to be
how does it do it without nothing? Without
it has
support?
something. Well, I mean, I could apply the same, question to the God, right? So, like, how is the God there if there was nothing? In the same way you're saying, well, how are the particles there if there was nothing? How is the God there when there was nothing? And it's because both the God and the particles,
like I said, the supreme being, high power.
Both the God and the particles rely on the same presupposition that they existed eternally, right?
But still, even though he's still here, he still applies, whatever you want to call it, and whatever I call it, it's still here, regardless of either way. And
right. However, when you make the argument that being gay is wrong because of the existence of your God, and you just think that we're referring to the same thing and calling it different things, well, I absolutely disagree. Because what I'm referring to does not possess given properties, such as being all good, all powerful, and all knowing, and having divine inspiration, and having control over what is right and wrong, and defining sin and evil, and this divine authority for telling us what is good and bad. Like, I don't assume any of those I don't assume any of those reasons.
Then how God gave his own son? How did God give birth to his son through the Virgin Mary without her having no male companion? There was no male companion for her.
That?
Just because Joseph was around.
Can you please justify?
He gave birth to her before even Joseph did.
Can you please justify the notion that a virgin woman or girl, to be more specific, a virgin girl gave birth to a child without engaging in the act of intercourse?
It had to do with God. I told you, the divine power,
can you justify that? Can you justify that it had to do with God?
It had to do with that only.
And how do you know that it had to do with that, and that you didn't just get lied to?
You don't, like God said, you don't need proof. You don't need proof. Proof's already there.
Then what do you need? If you don't need proof, then what do you need? You just need belief. So if I believe that you're wrong, are you wrong?
That ain't how he does it. He don't tell you wrong if you're wrong. He doesn't say nobody's wrong.
No, this is what you just told us. Like, the reason in which you believe in God and you believe in the divine pregnancy of Mary and the divinity of Jesus Christ as the Son of God is based off upon no standard except for faith and the fact that it did occur. So I'm basically using the same logic in the fact that I have faith in the fact that you being wrong is a real occurrence. Well, when I believe in this notion that you're wrong and I assert that as the truth because of my belief, am I justified in doing so?
As I said, is Jay wrong? Yeah, it can be. Because how's two babies going to appear with 2 days? How's 2 days going to make babies?
Well,
Just like me asking, how did like I said,
IVF?
Mary gave birth to Jesus?
IVF.
God.
IVF.
You gonna ask? That's the same question you're gonna ask me about.
Right, you just asked me a question and I answered IVF and virtual fertilization. That's how.
Mhm. So, how 2 days gonna make babies?
IVF.
Man, just like you said,
IVF. That's how IVF. No. The answer to the question is IVF and virtual fertilization and surrogacy.
Virtually what?
Virtual fertilization is how a gay
That's
individual.
called abomination stuff. You're using scientific to you're making the babies.
Right, you are using science to create children. Exactly. But this is how a gay man can have children.
Now we're getting somewhere. You want to believe in science is a lot. You want to believe over science over the beliefs.
Wait, no, I don't believe. Wait, no,
believe
wait,
in the
I'm
blind.
not. Wait, I'm not believing in science. I'm not believing in science. I'm just. Wait, no. We just have like an actual process as to how a gay man can have a child. This isn't necessarily indicative of science or having a belief structure that is formatted off of the scientific method. I'm just like seriously answering your question on how a gay man can have a child. He can have a sperm cell implanted into an egg cell and then have that implanted into a woman. So this is called surrogacy through IVF.
Go to a woman. Go to natural life. Go to
Ryan, thank you for the
natural
Venmo. I
life.
appreciate it, Ryan.
Is it wrong to be infertile?
What?
Is it wrong to be is it like wrong to be infertile?
There's no God will ever have a baby if only through science, and that's the wrong way to go.
Right, Red Dog. Is it wrong to be infertile?
God don't make gays. God never made gays.
Right, Red Dog. Is it wrong to be infertile?
If it says about no, gay man cannot have babies, yeah, it's wrong.
Right. So is infertility? Do you know what infertility is?
And infertility is in a woman.
Is it wrong to be an infertile woman?
A woman is the one that's supposed to be the one having the baby. And man
is it wrong to be an infertile woman? Is it wrong to be Red Dog. I'm gonna spell this out. I'm gonna spell this out, Red Dog. How old are you?
Old enough. I'm telling you that. 40.
Don't worry. I'm using this to like progress the conversation by giving you an analogy to something you'd be familiar with. What is your age?
I am 40.
40. So, your mother, how old is she?
She passed away.
Okay. Well, do you have like, okay. Well, what I'm getting at here is like, you probably know a woman in your life that is above the age of 55 or so. And what happens when a woman gets to the age of 55?
I have two sisters, and I'm the only brother.
Right. When what happens when a woman gets to that age is she goes through menopause, and then she becomes unable to give birth. Right. So like your mother, like prior to the point in which she sadly passed away, was like unable to have any more children. And like that's called infertility.
Yeah, you know.
So, why can I still hear him? Yo, why can I still hear him?
I don't know. He's gone now. Where'd he go? What happened? Did he just get banned?
No, I didn't see any notification. But like,
thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it. Thank you. Did he get bananaed?
I think his phone died.
Well, but like it would take a second for him to leave.
Oh,
Flora, I appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. It would take a second for him to leave if he just it would like lag out. It wouldn't like. Whoop.
Oh yeah, true. For whatever reason, I heard him for like another 10 seconds after he disconnected. But anyways, that was a really great conversation, Parker. That was a really great conversation that I'm so thankful for you letting me have on your platform.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, we're going to go on to the next person. Everyone tap that screen. Let's try to get to 2 million likes. If you want to help get out to more people, everyone share the live copy link, send it to a few friends, everyone. Let's try to get to 5,000 shares tonight. 5,000 shares. You can send 1 million copy links, everyone. So just, if you keep spamming the copy links, it helps the live send out. I'm not joking. You can just keep clicking copy link and it will keep sending up the share button. I'm not joking. Right, someone was doing it one night and got it up to like 6K shares on one of my lives out of nowhere. Someone did it 6,000 times.
Everyone, share the live right now. Click share and click
Let's get
copy link.
15,000 shares right now, everyone.
15,000. If everyone,
15,000 shares.
If you hear my voice right now, if my voice is going into your ears, that means you're one of the 3.4 thousand people listening or watching to this right now. Take 1.3 seconds.
Dude, look at all the
hit
people
share.
sharing it.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this needs to continue
Dude,
to
I
happen.
wish
If
I
you
could
hear my
show
voice,
y'all.
click share.
Because I see all the shares on my PC. Like every single share, I see it. So like the entire chat is just filled with shares.
Right, and continue to do it. Don't stop. Everyone, if you hear my voice, literally share
Appreciate
and
the
copy
subscription.
link.
Thank you so much. We already hit 2. We already hit 2K. 3K. Oh my gosh.
3.5. Yeah. No, everyone, continue to do it.
Oh
Don't
my
stop.
gosh.
Don't stop, guys. While we get our next
hit
guest up in here,
4K.
don't stop. Keep going.
Holy
if you hear my
shit.
voice, join in on the madness. Keep going. While our next guest loads up, our next guest is loading in here right now.
That might be the new strat, chat. That might be the new strat. We just run the share. We're at 5K shares.
6K. Keep going. Everyone, keep going.
On, chat?
Keep going.
Hello.
Don't stop.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah,
What year were you
what's
born?
your birth year?
07/22/1995.
Yeah, you're definitely not 18, bro.
That
what
is-
the fuck? That's
that
like
is
16.
terrible, man.
That's like 16, isn't it?
No, he said 1995.
Oh. Sorry, I thought he said my brain thought he said 2007.
He was like 07, like as like in pertaining to the 7th
Yeah.
month. Guys, we're almost at 10K
We're at
shares. Keep
9,000.
going.
Holy shit,
Keep
dude.
going.
This
Keep
is the
going.
most I've ever seen on a live before. Holy fuck, dude.
Keep going.
Yo,
If
what's
you
up, how
hear
old
my
are you?
voice.
How old are you? Hello? Dude, we hit 10,000 shares. That is
I say
so
we
fucked.
I say we push for 100K. I say we push for 100K shares.
100K
Everyone-
shares, chat.
100K. What's up, Lamp? How old are you?
Oh, he's not. They're not in yet. Now,
Okay.
yo, what's up? How old are you?
Thank you for the
Hello?
money gun. I think he's sleeping.
All right, Guzman's right in the back. In the back.
Oh, he's not present. Thank you for the money gun.
Yeah, he's not present within reality. Yo, thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate it, Natalie. Thank you so much. Dean's mic is bad. Yeah, I know.
Well, actually, I know that it's bad. Look at what I got. I got a Shure. I got a very expensive mic, but it's broken. I plugged
Yo,
it
what's up?
in.
How old are you?
Didn't work.
18, exactly.
Appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much. What's your birth year?
2005.
Okay, you go for it, Dean.
Sweet. Also, Thom, thank you so much for the $20 Venmo. W Thom's in the chat. All right, man. So sweet. Do you think that being gay is wrong or immoral?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Why?
Because I'm Muslim.
Okay, sweet. So like in pertaining to your religion, what would be like the evidence or the justification for the existence of the Islamic God in order to necessarily justify the claims about morality made within the Quran?
No, the thing is, you're arguing about why is being gay wrong. You're wrong off subject. Last time I joined your live, you said something about the Prophet marrying a 9-year-old or something. I don't know what that was on about.
A 6-year-old. I did indeed say
Yeah.
that. But like now my question for you is, well, if you are asserting that being gay is objectively wrong because it says so within your religious texts, well, religious text only holds this objective bearing of depicting to us what is right and wrong if the divine inspiration is indeed true and the divine creator does indeed exist. So can you please justify the notion that the Islamic creator does indeed exist?
Okay, I can give you a couple of proofs. The Quran talks about the earth. I didn't think. I was gonna get ready for the gay thing, not for this.
We're 17 now, Parker. Let's get to 20K shares right now. Everyone share while this guy's scrambling.
It is
Everyone
actually
share.
insane. I've never seen it above 5,000.
That's nuts, dude. Everyone, if you hear my
I've
voice,
never-
literally
I
share
didn't
3
even-
times. Share 3 times right now,
shit.
chat.
So the reason I would come up with it, there has to be a necessary being, because the universe cannot be infinite.
Yeah, the necessary being doesn't have to be God.
So why not?
Oh no, you'd have to say that it's logically impossible for it to be the otherwise.
Right.
Right,
So
there could
can
be
you
a
assert,
naturalistic cause.
can you assert a logical impossibility for any other creator or cause for the universe apart from the Islamic creator?
What do you mean by that?
Right. So you're basically saying that the universe is contingent upon a creator. Can you please, justify the notion that it is logically impossible for that creator to be anything but the Islamic God?
Okay, so are you asking why it's Islamic God specifically, or are you asking prove that God exists?
No, I'm specifically
No.
asking
In that
you-
scenario, so kind of both. So when it relates to the belief that you have, you're saying that there has to be a necessary being in terms of the contingency argument. First of all, I could actually reject this, right? Because it is the case that infinite regression is possible. But even if we accept that infinite regression is not possible, and we do accept that there has to be some sort of necessary being, one in which is independent and explains all dependent variables, well, then it would be the case that we that doesn't have to be like the Islamic God. Right? It can be the case that it's a naturalistic God. It could be a deist God. It could be any other depiction of a God. It doesn't have to be specifically your God. So for you to claim that your God is the only necessary being in which could exist would require an impossibility of the contrary, i.e. you say that there's a contradiction in every other worldview.
Okay, I'll explain to you. So first we have to look at other religions, dead religions. If a God existed and he truly was just and you want to worship that religion shouldn't die and you should be able to carry on following it. So we're going by process of elimination. Then after that we've got religions like Hinduism, Buddhist, like the five main, Jewish and Christianity. Judaism. The reason that we knock out Buddhists is because they don't really believe in a God. Then we have Hinduism. Hinduism is their God depends on different things. There's not a lot of proofs for it, and there's a lot of different beliefs within it. Like, wait a minute.
Okay. So, I mean, again, just on the topic of the ontological proof of the creator, we have two things that you first must do. Can you please, A, show me that infinite regression is impossible, and B, reject the notion that the naturalistic explanation of, the contingency for all, such as a fundamental set of particles, which exists in an infinite nature similar to your God and has the necessary properties to give way for the existence of all similar to the necessary desires of your God, is not more probable, outruling the possibility or the plausibility of your creator, because it has less necessary presuppositions, such as like the properties of all good, all powerful, and all knowing.
Could you explain that?
Someone in chat says I'm being so rude. Wow. Anyways.
Yeah, Dean, stop being so angry. Stop yelling, Dean. Like, honestly,
I'm
just being so rude.
I'm just being so rude, so real. But anyways, so yeah, so basically, like, what the assertion is like, well, yeah, even if we play into this idea that there must be a contingency for everything, or like an original cause, this is more probable.
Oh, Dean, I just wanted to let you know that person was trolling, by the way. They're joking. They do that in my chat all the time. They do it in my chat all the time because people will come up in here. It has nothing to do with the guest either. The guest wasn't doing that. They were just trolling the chat. Some people will gaslight me and be like, "Oh, you're yelling," or like, "You're super rude." I'm sitting there. I'm super patient. So we joke about it all the time. Yeah, okay. So that's just a comment. It's kind of like an inside joke, more or less.
Okay, I was like, wow, really? Okay, so anyways, yeah. So basically, we have two ways to explain the contingency for everything: a God, and then a fundamental set of particles. And then because the fundamental set of particles is more simplistic in nature, because it requires less presuppositions, it's inherently going to be more probable. Therefore, ruling out the idea that it could have been your creator.
Okay. So can you show me, give me something else that has been, that's infinite, that's not a God?
Yeah, the particles.
Okay, so can you explain?
Wait, by the way, you don't have to have another entity in which is infinite, because then I could just ask you for what's another entity in which is eternal or infinite, so that you could dictate that God can be eternal. Because it is the case that there's no other entity in which you consider to be eternal.
Okay, right? No, I'll explain to you why you're wrong there, because then you go.
It's the only thing that's considered eternal.
No, but
I just said the particles because that was my train of thinking part.
No offense.
Well, no, that's under your worldview, but he won't recognize that because he's asking how you determine that to be. In that way.
That was going to be the second step when he was like, oh, how do you know? Well, oh, how do you know?
Okay, yeah, but I was going to go into that. You guys interrupted me. But basically the problem with saying prove something else that is eternal to me for God would be problematic because I've learned about philosophy a little bit. The law of non-contradiction. If there was something else that was eternal except from God, then that would that would mean that God wouldn't be God.
Can you prove that God's eternal?
No, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, bro, prove he's eternal.
Okay.
Name something else that's eternal apart from the fundamental set of particles.
Exactly. No, this is what I'm saying. If I was to say something else is eternal except from God, right, then he would not be God.
Right, so just like if I was to say there's something else eternal from the particles, then they would not be, the creator of all. So yes, so please, respond to my objections or prove the eternity of their creator. Well, what's a circularity? And assuming a notion of like Occam's razor and obedience to something being more simplistic equals it being more.
Go Power Rangers!
That was beautiful. No, but this is what you don't understand. I'm saying if there was something else that was other than God that was eternal, it would not be God.
Prove he's eternal.
What do you mean by
Prove
that?
that he exists. No. Here's my argument. So you told me the proof of your God was that there has to be a cause for all, and I'm simply asserting that it is more probable that a fundamental set of particles would be the cause for all because they're more simplistic in nature, right? It's just a simple obedience with the principles set forth by Occam's razor, right? It is less presupposition. There's less supposed Power Rangers. There's less supposed, truths that would arise alongside their existence. Therefore, it's more probable. So this is why I say, like the ontological proof for a God, aka there must be like a dependency for all or original cause per se, is more like consistent with a naturalistic worldview.
Explain that in English this time. Like, what's that? Understand? No, but this is what you don't.
Yeah. So we have two explanations to explain how everything caused, how everything happened. Like two ways to explain where everything came from. We have a God, and we have a set of particles. The set of particles is more simple than the God. Therefore, because these things attempt to explain the same thing, the one that is more simple is going to be more probable. And because the one that is more simple is the particles from the naturalistic worldview, we can arrive upon the conclusion that naturalism is more probable than theism.
Okay, I understand you.
This speech is so good, man.
Basically, what you're saying is there's two ways of God existing, two ways of existence existing, which is particles and God, right?
No, we're just all I'm asserting is some notion of naturalistic theory that is more probable than your theory. Therefore, this rules out your theory.
Why would you say yours is more probable?
Because it's more simplistic.
On what basis is it more simplistic?
Yeah, it has less presuppositions. Wow.
You got me, bro. Let me think.
This pizza is so good. Can we get some W pizzas in the chat? As well as 30,000 shares.
W pizzas? Yeah, 25k shares is wild. That was actually wild.
Alright, so I've got an argument, but I've got it written down which I can't read because I have to go off the app. But the thing is, Dean, wouldn't particles be a material?
Yeah.
So, how would a material exist without being created?
It's eternal.
Yeah, it's eternal. That's how. Yeah, I already told you this. It's eternal. It's existed forever.
Prove that it's eternal.
Well, it's just
He's saying prove that God's eternal. These are both going to be assumptions.
Yeah,
right. The point of comparing
assumption.
these two models isn't because we think that there's some sort of sufficient explanation of the natural world, right? But it's to compare these two hypotheses to show that one is less likely to be true than the other, indicating that we just wouldn't accept your explanation.
Right. So, both your theory and my theory
thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That the creator is eternal. So it's like you prove it.
No, but the thing is, the understanding of a God which is eternal, all-powerful, makes more sense than just atoms being there for eternity.
More sense to who? Not more sense to me.
That's just like some sort of like you have a that's not a claim that it does make more sense, like in like terms of a logical sense. But what you mean by that statement is that you just prefer it.
No,
That's it.
no. But the same for you guys though. Like you, it's a distinction.
No. We're making a distinction between these two like hypotheses on the basis of like theoretical simplicity, which is essentially saying that if an argument requires less assumptions, right, than another one and still explains the exact same question, that the one that assumes the least, right, is going to be more likely to be true. That's the basis of theoretical simplicity that we're appealing to.
My bad. Could you just repeat that?
Yeah. So we're appealing to like theoretical simplicity, saying that like something requires less, or if there's a question, why do we exist or how do we exist, right? And then there are posited answers. One hypothesis posits an answer, another hypothesis posits the answer, right? If one requires less assumptions than the other, right, it is going to be the case that the one that requires less assumptions than the other, given that they explain the exact same phenomena, is going to be more likely to be true than the one in which assumes more.
Okay. Could you invite someone up real quick?
Yeah. Who?
His name's Falsifer. He's got a green profile picture. He could argue this better than me on this point.
Falsifer. Do you see them in the guest box, Dean? I don't see anyone named Falsifer.
Let me check. You said he had a green profile picture?
Yeah, I don't even see a green profile picture in the guest box. Do you see it, Dean?
No, I do not.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I'll add him up though. Like I'm down to do that. The Dr. Pepper W.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm at my mom's house right now for the weekend, and she has a fridge full of these, and oh my god, I just love it.
I get Dr. Pepper. I used to get Dr. Pepper and cream soda. That combo is pretty fire. It's like in one. It's in one cup. It's it's amazing.
Falsifer, barely know.
Falsifer. I don't see them. I don't see there in the guest box.
No, they just requesting now. They're just getting on now on TikTok.
Okay.
They have a better understanding because this is a philosophical argument which I don't have the best basis on.
Parker, did you get your B-dubs yet? No, I'm not even at my parents' house. I'm gonna, after we do the battles and stuff, I'll go back to my parents and I'll be able to do that. Falsifer. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, but they're literally joining now.
Okay, for sure.
Just like a minute. But I want to argue on the basis that because I see with Christians you argue why their basis is wrong, and I was thinking Islam has a better strong point on why it is strong. But no.
No. Like, do you accept historical fact?
To a certain extent, as long as it, like, for example, like Jesus dying, no.
Yeah, so like you don't accept that. Why would that be the case? I think they just left. Hello?
Alright, so like, for example, certain things, yes, but like, what's the argument?
Why I'm asking, why don't you accept it?
Accept what?
Crucifixion.
Oh, because the Quran said it was just made to look like it happened.
Yeah, so if it was made to look like as if it happened that way, wouldn't that tell you that it was most likely to be true based upon the historical data that Jesus did crucify, as it was made to appear that way? Well, so we'd have best reason to believe that he died on the cross. So you're just saying that you reject the notion of historical fact that relates to what's most likely to be true, right? And instead you have faith in the Quran, right?
He's requested Falsifer.
Falsifer. There we go.
Oh my god. Everything is dropping right now.
Hello. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, firstly, we can accept the crucifixion. Like, I have no problem with accepting that view. We can take the view that the Quran is only responding to the Jewish Talmud. We can take this view because the two instances of which the Quran is talking about is the slander of Mary alayha salam and the slander of Isa alayhi salam. These two instances are found in the Jewish Talmud. Sanhedrin 106 say the slander of Maryam, astaghfirullah, may Allah curse him. And Isa alayhi salam, the Jews claim to kill Isa alayhi salam on the cross, they came to stone him. The Quran says, and for their saying, and he's recording the Jews, for their saying they killed Jesus, son of Mary, and they made it appear so. So he's
Apostle, it's great to meet you.
He's quoting the Jews there in regard. So we can actually accept the crucifixion. This is a classic Ishmaeli opinion of the 11th century. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So what particular verse would you be?
That's my Britishness. Sorry.
That's fine. Don't worry. So wait, what verse did you say it was in the Quran?
That would be Surah An-Nisa, ayah 157.
1-5-7.
By the way, we're not Sunni Muslims, so I don't.
Yeah, we're Shia Muslims. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And thanks to that guy that was gifting.
But I mean, if you're interested in philosophical arguments of God, are you guys familiar with the Ente argument?
Yeah. So doesn't this one? Wait, hold on. We'll go into that in a second. You said we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of God. In fact, they did not. They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him. But it appeared to them as if they did.
Yeah. So this is in reference to the Jewish Talmud.
Yeah, but isn't this saying that they didn't crucify him, or is it saying that like it's just describing something that is someone else's view?
No, so the Quran is correct in this regard. So what contains in the Talmud, according to Jewish scholar Peter Schafer, I believe his name is, he talks about this. They actually write a parody account of the crucifixion in which they claim Isa alayhi salam did miracles by witchcraft, by magic, by some evil means, and they actually claim to the Jews themselves to have stoned him to death. We know this is not actually what happened. But in two senses, we can understand this, why Allah is saying this. So firstly, we can understand that it was the Romans that actually did the physical act in the place, not the Jews. The Jews had no role in this, but they make it appear so in their books. Yeah, and you understand that. And we also find this if you look for Quran, the slander of Mary. You'll find that the Quran in the very same surah accuses the Jews of slandering Mary. This is also found in the Talmud, that would be in Sanhedrin 106a. So where they accuse Mary of being a harlot, a sort of a prostitute, whorish like figure, astaghfirullah azim. So the reality of this is that we can absolutely affirm the view in a bit of a personal ijtihad in the Shia tradition. We're going to take our own personal view here, and we can say that there's no problem. We're saying this view is only responding to the slander of the Jews because they're writing a parody of the crucifixion. But also, secondly, we have to understand, there's verses in the Quran where Allah says, "You did not kill them, but I killed them." The Prophet ﷺ did not throw the stones, but I threw the stones. So in a secondary sense, Allah is also.
So wait here to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. You're saying that like it's describing someone else's view.
Yeah, it's refuting the Jewish claim that they killed Jesus alayhi salam. So you can find this view that they claim to kill Jesus in Sanhedrin 43a. That's
So you don't believe in crucifixion. Or
no, I'm saying he died. I'm saying that's fine. I'm saying it's refuting that certain Jewish enemies of Jesus were responsible, which is their claim in their book, the Talmud, the oral tradition of the Torah.
Okay, wait, not to mention who's responsible. I'm just saying, do you believe Jesus was crucified? This says that they didn't crucify him.
Yeah, the Jews.
Are you saying that like that? Oh, okay. So they're saying particular people didn't crucify him, but other individuals did.
Yes, but also.
Okay, so where does it say that these particular individuals were the ones that?
Well, that's what it's saying
didn't crucify them.
Part of it says, "For their saying, they killed Jesus, son of Mary." So the point of that statement there, and like I'm saying, you have to read in with the context of the earlier verses where it talks about the slander of Mary. Allah is accusing the certain particular Jews of certain crimes.
Yeah. So no. What it says is it gives a quote and then it gives a statement. In fact, right? So it's speaking in terms of fact, not in terms of what they said.
Yeah, so that's
so I don't see a really good reason to believe that it's simply just what they said.
You need to follow along, right? So once again, it's refuting their claim. The Jews, remember, he's accusing the Jews. He's not talking to the Romans. He's not talking to anyone else. He's talking to the Jews. Now let me ask you, in historical fact, did the Jews kill Jesus?
It was the Romans, right?
Exactly, right? So when the Jews in their book claim that they killed Jesus, Sanhedrin 43a, their Jewish Talmud, which is a parody of the crucifixion, and also in that same book, which the Quran tells them off for, saying, "You slandered Mary, alayha salam, who was purified above all women of the world." And you understand, what else is the Quran going to be responding to but the Jewish Talmud? So it's refuting these particularly nasty, vile things we find in their books. Not to claim the crucifixion did not happen. And there's no problem with us taking that opinion. No problem.
Wait, so are you saying that like people say it was appeared that the Jews killed Jesus?
Yes.
You're saying that that's true?
I'm saying, yeah, you can find that in their books.
So people didn't think that it was the Romans?
No, I'm saying to the Jews, they believed so. That's why it's in their books. Obviously, the Jews believe what they believe about Jesus. They don't believe he's God. They're not really interested in listening to Roman or Christian authorities on this matter. Their oral tradition, you gotta understand, the Talmud, the Torah, they don't just believe that the books of Moses were revealed to them at Sinai. They believe the explanations and many extra things were revealed at Sinai, which were revealed in a book. Well, not a book, but it wasn't written down, but it was passed down from Moses to Joshua to the judges to the rabbis, so on and so forth. It was passed down through the generations and finally written down in about the 3rd century Jewish Talmud. And I think there's two of them, the Babylonian Talmud and the Palestinian Talmud. So these are the collections of the oral tradition. And in those, both these things that the Quran accuses the Jews of saying are found. So the Quran is accurately responding to a very, very, educational tradition as well. Not something that he would have found just sitting around. There weren't really Jews in Christian territories. The Jews in Arabia probably definitely weren't rabbinic scholars. So the likelihood of him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, actually having such intricate knowledge of what the Jews have said in their book seems very unlikely. So to me, that seems like a small evidence towards this book being from Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah, I'm not really following with what you're saying when it relates to why we're saying that like somehow they're referring to not like what they would consider to be fact, but instead, right, like a particular community and what they're doing instead. Like you're saying that like this community didn't kill them, but if it was the case that it was made to appear that way, well then we would have seen within the context of history, right, that we would have believed that it was the Jews, not the Romans. So that interpretation doesn't seem to be convincing to me.
Yeah, once again, you're not following. So once again, Allah is telling off the Jews.
I know you're saying that I'm not following, but like you're not really describing as to why.
Because one thing, you need to follow the context of the whole chapter that what he's talking about. So he's accusing them, the Jews, for their saying. That's what they say. You need to understand this, Yani. And the Jews,
that was in the quotes. It was in the quotes that we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of God. But then after that, it states, in fact, this is after the quotes are done. There's already an end quote. So in fact, they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but it appeared to them as if they did.
Exactly.
This doesn't support your point. This does not support your point.
It does. Like, I don't see how you're not following.
No, it doesn't. I know you're saying that I'm not following, but I'm giving contextual evidence based upon
and I'm giving you once again, follow along, right? So once again, it's quoting
I am
what
following
they
along.
say.
I don't know why you keep saying that.
Yeah, because remember, it's quoting what they say.
How about you follow along, right? They quoted it and then they ended the quote, and it is the case that they then said in fact,
so
right? To reference fact, not to reference the
Jews-
quote, but to reference fact, things that they would consider to be fact. That is literally the context of the sentence.
No, once again, follow along. They're
What do you mean
quoting
now?
the Jews and
You
what
follow
they
along,
say.
right? That's exactly what happened.
Brother, follow along. Once again, they're saying for what they say.
Why does he keep saying it?
Quotes what they say, and then it rejects what they say. That's the point. It's not saying he didn't die. It's rejecting that they crucified him. It says they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him. That's the point. The Jews.
Thank you, Claude. I appreciate this description. Thank you so much. Again, you would have to tell me where particularly it says that it's referencing them.
Once again, the whole context of the ayah is that. That's why it's saying for their saying. That's in reference to the Jews.
Yeah, so where do you see that?
Oh, for the Jewish thing it's in the Talmud, I think. I think it's 42.
No, in the verse in the Quran, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about what is believed by nature of the Quran. We're not talking about the Talmud.
Yeah, but the thing that you don't.
You could say you're responding to it, but we're talking about the context of what they believe. I don't see how that would be.
Yes, we're not talking about everyone. We're talking about the Jews because this specific Quran ayah is responding to the Jews. So it's saying towards the Jews, you have not unalived him. Yeah, it was made to look like you read the verse, right? So it's responding to the
Yeah.
Jews that believe it. So it's saying it was.
I know you're saying that, but it states in fact, right? It's making a fact claim. It's not making a descriptive claim as it relates to like what they've said, right? Because it just quoted that and ended the quote and then relates to the fact.
Right. Falsifier, are you there?
So even those who argue for this crucifixion are in doubt. They have no knowledge whatsoever, only making assumptions. They certainly did not kill him. Rather, Allah raised him up to himself, and Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. Okay, this is literally like what the next sentence says. That does not support your idea here that it's only responding to Jews, right? Like I don't see anywhere where that's established. I'm reading the prior verses to that. I don't see anywhere where that's established. And even after that statement, it literally goes on to then say that you would say you have no knowledge whatsoever, and you're just making an assumption.
Yeah, I'll give you the context to that secondarily. But if we go from ayah 154, you're going to see that this clearly starts this whole pericope, so selection of verses. It starts by outwardly addressing the Jews.
Where?
What you don't seem to understand is it's responding to the Jews, not to everyone else. And when it says what Falsel's argument is,
where?
I think it was, what ayah was it?
Where did they specifically mention it?
Specifically mention what?
That they're referencing the Jews.
Oh, so we have another Quran ayah, I'll pull it out for you in a sec. And it says, if you do not understand something, refer to the previous books. So that means the books that God sent down before. So like, you can look at the Torah and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like you're saying that you're looking back at this text because this is not fully explained. You're saying this is not fully explained, so you're not looking to the Quran to explain this, you're looking to the Torah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you go from ayah 1, you're gonna read that it's addressing the Jews. It addresses them as Sabbath breakers, we who raised them out over you. You're gonna read that whole context is accusing the Jews of a whole bunch of things. Like I said in the previous ayah, they're accusing them also of slandering Mary. So this whole list of things is directed towards the Jews if you actually read through it. So the context that it is addressing the Jews is clear. So like I'm saying, the ayah before is what gives the context that this could only be the Talmud. That they slandered Mary, and for their saying that they killed Christ, son of Messiah, but they did not. This is responding to only the Jews and the Jews alone. That's what it's about, clear as day. So I don't know what you're saying. The scripture doesn't support it. Read from 154 down to this ayah.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to read this. I do have a friend that wants to address your particular claim though. Here, are you okay with that?
Well, he can if he wants. But I was hoping I really got invited here to talk about arguments for God. So.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that in a second. We can
that.
address this first. What's up, Matt?
Hello.
Hey, so I'm trying to. I want to break down what you're saying. So, are what you're saying is that Jesus himself, okay, was not crucified, right? Is that's what you're saying, right? Jesus was not crucified. And
no, I'm saying he was.
You're saying he was crucified.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Jews didn't do it.
Okay, but doesn't your text explicitly say that he was not killed or crucified? It was merely appeared to be so.
By the Jews. And like I'm saying, you have to read it in context. So if we go from 154, it's addressing the Jews from many.
What does 158 say?
Yeah.
Could you read out?
Yeah, rather Allah raised him up to himself, and Allah is Almighty, All-Wise. He literally raised him up. So not only did the Jews fail to kill him and crucify him, but someone appeared to be like him, so that they
filled his place. Find me that word in the Arabic, please. Find me the word where it says that someone that was made to appear like him in the Arabic text.
It was only made to appear so.
So no, appear so in their books. Because remember, read before the ayah before. All before from 154 through, and the verse before it literally says, and they slander Mary, and for their saying.
Yes, I'm understanding that.
Hold on,
I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying
how are you going to understand my point if I can't finish? Yeah, okay, thank you. So, yeah, so,
This is responding to a particular problem, a slander that the Jews have said. They slander Mary, and for their saying that they killed Christ or the Messiah, but they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but they make it appear so. This is what they find in their books, Yani. They make it appear so. They write a parody of the crucifixion and claim they killed Isa alayhi salam. Like I told you, Sanhedrin 43a, in their books, clear as day. You scroll through it, you'll find where they claim that Jesus alayhi salam did miracles by witchcraft, and they claim they put him on a cross and hang him and stoned him to death and all such disgusting, blasphemous things that they say when they rejected the Messiah. It's quite clear what these verses are responding to, the blasphemies of the Jews. And it's not to claim that the crucifixion happened. I want to respond to the further ayah where it says those who differ upon it are in doubt. Yeah, we're gonna get to the second ayah now where it talks about those who differ upon it are in doubt. This is responding to the Christians now, because the Christians at this time, they're the Nestorians, they're over in Assyria, they're the Orthodox, they're the Miaphysites, they're all arguing. They're saying, did God die on the cross? Did man die on the cross? Did both die on the cross? The Quran is just telling them, stop this yap. You man don't know what you're talking about. Christ is just a messenger. Stop all this yap, bro. Don't differ upon it, bro. That's what it's talking about, the actual Christological debates of the 7th century Arabia, Yani. So the Quran is not a book that came down with no context at the time and place in which it existed. So we need to follow and understand what sort of a period of Christianity it came down in.
Yes, I understand. Okay, I understand your point, but the point is it all relates back to the Talmud, and I think what you're not understanding is that the Talmud, the oral Torah, is a late addition to the actual synthesis of the Jewish religion. This idea of Jesus not being crucified is not a new phenomenon within this part of the world. There are various Gnostic sections that also believe this. The entire section of Doceticism believe that Jesus didn't die. This is not a new thing.
Hold on. Yeah, that's cool. That doesn't really respond to anything I said.
No, it does, because criticism of the Talmud primarily came later by the church, because it was formed, the oral Torah was formed centuries after the death of Jesus. Centuries after. And so Jews at the time were not making the claim. It was Jews later, once Christianity was spreading at such a very
it's
rapid
2
rate.
centuries. So the Babylonian, it's about the second 200 and something KD. It's like compiled 200 and something. So the Jewish Talmud is 400 years before the Quran. So yeah, that's no problem there. Doesn't affect me in any way. What you said really, I don't really care. It does nothing to what I said.
It does, in the sense that this is not a new idea. In fact, many critical scholars who study this thing think that this idea of Jesus not being killed is just a parody or just a reinterpretation of the Gnostic beliefs that were already. You can say it's false, but that's a faith claim. I'm telling you what scholarship says. You can disagree with scholarship.
We're not saying that Jesus wasn't crucified. We're saying that the slanderous claim that the Jews were responsible is false.
Then you disagree with some of your own commentaries.
I mean, I'm a Shia, so I don't know what commentaries you think.
Okay, yeah. So you're a Shia. So you are the minority of your religion.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and so I could bring on a Sunni Muslim here who would argue exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. That most scholars.
And I'll debate him as well. I don't care. Bro.
Yes, but nothing you said. You gave one interpretation. You gave one interpretation,
my
right?
interpretation,
But it's belied by the fact that verse 158 says God raised him up.
Yeah, and I agree. He did. There's no problem with that.
He wasn't killed or crucified. God raised him up.
No, so you're not following, bro. We're just saying that he could go on the cross.
I don't know. That's literally what it says, right? Maybe we're not able to interpret reality correctly.
No,
that's our fault.
I think I'm interpreting it just fine. I'm not the only person.
I said us.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
what the claim that you're making.
If you want context to people who hold this view, like I said, you can find Ismaili scholars of the 11th century this view. You can go watch the video of Dr. Khalil Andani, who also holds this view. This is not an unfounded view within Islam.
No, I'm saying it's minority view, and there's a reason why it's minority view. It's because. If we have better arguments, I'm going to reject your argument for better arguments.
Hold on, thank you. If the minority view in the world that was that 1 + 1 is 2, and most people thought 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah, he's not saying that. Wait, no. False. He's not saying because it's a minority view, it's wrong. He's saying the reason why it's a minority view is this, right? So respond to the reason.
Well, the reason it's minority view,
people just didn't understand it right. That's why. Like, I don't really have a
Okay,
problem with it.
you do. Give me the reason why you have this special knowledge.
I mean, I don't have some special knowledge. I actually learned this view from like previous scholars, like I've already quoted. So
Shia scholars, so scholars who confirm your already previous belief about your minority part of your religion. It's like me if I was a Baptist or Protestant listening to Mormons talk about their view of Jesus.
yeah, well, somewhat of like a general consensus from different people is never a bad thing. Like if like a Catholic and an Orthodox and a Protestant agree that the crucifixion took place, that's a good indication that that's Christian doctrine universally. So I don't really see like the problem with that.
No.
No problem.
The good evidence is based on history and fact. They adopt those because we have history and we have evidence on the side. If the history and the evidence wasn't on the side, I would be the first one to say that Jesus didn't die and he wasn't crucified. In fact, Parker and I agree on this. I don't believe that Jesus was buried. I think he was either left on the cross to die, or
I don't believe he was buried either. I agree.
Or mass burial. Yeah. Like, there's no like personal burial. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a common practice in first century Palestine. I agree. That's the Bart Ehrman view.
It was the most common.
Yeah,
practice.
I agree.
So it's most likely that would have occurred.
This is what Bart Ehrman and Paul Friedrichsen, both scholars, they talk about this all the time. I'm very familiar with their works. Big fan of Bart Ehrman. As a Muslim, of course, I'm a big fan of Bart Ehrman. You know, textual criticism.
Well, you know, Bart Ehrman disagrees with you on
a lot of what you just said. I can still be a fan of him. That's fine. He also,
I mean, hold on, but even Christians agree with this sect. John Meyer, John Dominic Crossan, Gerd Thasian. I can name you Christians scholars who agree with the position that I just said.
Okay, what has this got to do with anything?
Nothing. You said that you agree because Bart Ehrman happens to be an atheist, and so he happens to adopt minority opinions. I'm saying there are Christian scholars who hold to a Trinity, who hold to Jesus being the Son of God, who also hold this opinion. So I mean, you can like or I'm saying the reason why they do it, the reason why they believe it, is because the evidence points in their favor.
I mean, I think the crucifixion is like fairly historical. Like I wouldn't like completely throw it in the bin.
Actually, I think you have a faith claim about it, but the fact that you at least say that Jesus, well, okay, no, actually, you don't say that. Okay, I want to make sure I get this right. You do believe that Jesus, the person, was killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're the first Muslim who are, and probably because you're Shia, because you're in the minority, you're the first Muslim that I have that actually agrees with that historical fact. You know, most Muslims that we talk to say he was not killed, he was not crucified.
Yeah, rocking world. There's something you have to understand. The Sunni Islam and some people might not like this, but their view on religion is like very bad. They believe the Prophet married a 6-year-old. They believe like crazy things. They believe the Prophet was a hypocrite. A lot of things like that. Yeah, they have hadiths of like the Prophet doing crazy stuff. So we don't believe in this, most things that Sunnis do.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the Catholic versus Protestant here. I mean, it's like the, yeah, I mean, it kind of is, because on doctrine, Catholics believe that Protestants believe very, 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 very wrong.
Because we both split off at the very beginning, so I wouldn't really.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about not in terms of degrees. I'm simply comparing the split. I'm saying the split is similar in that you guys disagree on major doctrines of faith.
Yeah, I would say fundamentally for us, they can't get past our first usul. We can never agree upon what they believe Tawheed is. We don't believe they have Tawheed. We will challenge.
Same thing with Catholic versus Protestant, right? The very foundation of the Catholic Church being the Pope, Protestants believe that the Pope is irrelevant to the conversation, like completely irrelevant.
Sure, like I know many Thomists, many Catholics. Like I'm very aware of intra like Catholic Orthodox discussions and debates on papal infallibility and the First Vatican Council. There's not really a problem there, but once again, that really doesn't really matter to the point. I mean, if you guys actually want to discuss like philosophy, like I would like to come to that point of
God exists.
Discussion at this point.
Dean, could we?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah. So, what is the proof of the existence for the justification for your God?
Okay, so are you familiar? First, you can ask you. Are you familiar with like the difference between like a per excellence and a per se series?
No.
Okay, so do you believe an infinite regress is possible?
Ask your question again. I'm so sorry. What was the parallel between infinite regresses? And wait, no, re-ask your first question.
You know the distinction between a per excellence chain and a per se series?
Oh, yeah, no, I've never heard any of those terms. And do I believe in infinite regresses? Yeah, sure. I don't see any like reason why they'd be logically impossible.
Okay, so the problem is that you're saying that, but the first question shows me that you kind of need a bit more info there, because the per se and the per excellence is the distinction between what makes infinite regress possible and what doesn't.
Well, explain to me the concepts.
So infinite regress.
Explain to me the concepts and which stand behind those terms, because I've never heard of the terminology before.
Yeah,
but I'm potentially familiar with the concepts.
So in metaphysics, per excellence is a term that we use for things that can sustain themselves causally, a chain of things that sustain themselves causally. They can explain themselves. They don't require other things to exist, essentially.
Like just axioms.
Not axioms. Like, you can kind of think like a per excellence chain, like you, your father, and your grandfather. Your father could stop existing right now, but your grandfather wouldn't cease to exist, and you wouldn't cease to exist. The chain.
Oh, just like a causal chain of events that are like, like causally related, but not causally dependent.
Yes.
Holy shit! Yo, mind reader, thank you so much for the Leon the Kitten. I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much, mind reader.
Actually, that's just how packed this lab is. 2.6K. That's crazy. But I don't really do all the big TikTok live thing. But so yeah. But what we're gonna have to talk about here is, because you understand things have more than one cause, right? Like things have up to 4 causes, right?
I want to see the things can have up to 4 causes. What is in relation to what, and what principle is this?
This is Aristotelian metaphysics.
Aristotelian. So fill me in on when you say things can have up to 4 causes. What is this in relation to?
For example, you have like a material cause, like what you're made out of. You also have like a formal cause, like what makes your form intelligible. So like wood is the
mind reader. Thank you.
So like wood is the material cause of a wooden table. But
Savannah, thank you so much.
You are the like efficient cause of the table coming to be as a table, having form, things like that. So that's just 2 examples of like, you know what I'm saying? I can't remember the 2 off the top of my head.
Yeah, when it comes to like my familiarity with Aristotle, I'm mostly familiar with like his works on like virtue ethics. But like when we get into his writings on metaphysics, I'm not super familiar. I mean, just to kind of jump the gap here, are you attempting to, formulate like an ontological proof?
No.
Santiago, thank you for the roses.
No. I'm going with a really. I'm probably going for an argument you probably haven't heard if you're not familiar with metaphysics at all.
Savannah, thank you so much for the whale. My Jesus Christ, Savannah, thank you for the whale. Also, y'all, make sure we're showing some love to Parker over the Cash App and the Venmos, because it just clicked in my head that he can't get gifts on TikTok. My reader, thank you for the whale.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, what I really want to talk about, what I want to talk about is a thing's efficient cause, which is the essence of a thing. So you have an essence, I have an essence. Everything in the world has an essence, right? Okay. So when we look at a particular thing, when we think about a particular thing, we can think of an essence, a whatness, a quiddity, if you want to use a term, whatever it may be. You can think of a whatness without it having existence, right? So, for example, I'll give you an example. Purple duck.
I'm really not familiar with like what is it called, like Aristotelian asceticism. Like, what's the formal name for it? Like, yeah, no, seriously. When we get into like Aristotelian, like work on metaphysics, I've never like read any of it. I mean, Parker, are you familiar with like his work on with metaphysics? As far as, like,
but I know what he's
galaxy.
relating to. You're just saying that we can think about concepts that could be related to an entity without having interacted with it.
No, I mean that there can be an essence without it having like existence, right? That's basically what I'm trying to draw a distinction in for this argument. I need to draw the essence existence distinction.
Like an essence and existence, or like just like by essence, are you just relating to the concept? David, thank you so much for the $20 cash app, and Maddie, I appreciate the $5 as well. Thank you.
I mean, like, what I do know is like when we're talking about like Aristotelian essence, all that like that statement is just like what makes something what it is. You know.
Yes, that is a good way to put it. It is whatness, but its whatness doesn't explain thatness that it exists. Okay, so they're gonna be distinct, right?
Yeah, it's like essence is what it is, but what it is necessarily.
Yeah, all you're saying is that we can like internally relate to like a view. Like, of course we're gonna agree.
No,
with this.
I mean when we see real things in the world, they become intelligible by their essence. Like for example, Yanni, if I ask you, how do you know a dog? How do you know dogs, even though some of them look different? They all look very widely different. You know them by a shared essence, a universal they have of dogness. They kind of share certain universal characteristics. This is what Aristotle is talking about, right? So, yeah, the point of this is that because essence doesn't explain its existence, everything that has every essence that exists in the world is going to be explained by something other than itself. So it is an essence having existence, or we call in Arabic wujud, is going to be dependent. And so this is going to give us a causal chain.
Oh, you're just talking contingency language.
Yeah.
So like,
really...
yeah. So, if you're talking about comparing the different models like we were earlier in terms of Occam's razor, well, we would just accept the idea that the particles would be independent and eternal, right? Like you can concede to that language, right? But like, I would say that like something like, what's up?
No. You need to, if you let me go through the argument, you're going to see why that's not even going to come into the ballpark. So, okay. So basically, we've gotten this very important distinction down, right? Okay. That essence coming to have existence is going to be causally dependent. And because it's going to be causally dependent, it's going to be a per se. Now, per se doesn't arrest in some random particles. It arrests in a necessary existent by determining, but it's determined. It has to arrest necessarily in a necessary existent. Now, because this necessary existent cannot be explained by anything else, the first thing is not explained by anything else. It's also not going to have certain things enforced upon it, such as essence existence distinction, because this is only going to be true for things that depend on another for its existence. So its existence and essence are going to be identical. And this first thing is going to have no limits on itself, because limits are also something prescribed by something other than a particular thing. Something that explains the thing explains the limits. So because of that, it has no limits on what it can be and what it can know. It's going to be unrestricted. And because its existence and essence is identical, it is going to be being a pure act. It's going to be pure being. So this idea that it can just be particles, I think it's just like, I don't know where people get this idea. It's not a realistic one at all.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of like inferences made.
Yeah. I don't think that you have a lot of justification for these. So, when it relates to the necessary being doesn't have to be specific to a god. You're saying that, right? You relate to the idea that it's independent, right? It explains itself, right? It explains others, right? Yeah. You can say that's true for like for the particles. I don't see a reason as to why you cannot. And then you said like no limitations. Would you consider logic a limitation?
No, I wouldn't consider logic a limitation.
Why not?
Because logic is just like deducing what's possible in reality. That's not a limitation, that's just what is possible.
Yeah, what's possible is a limitation, isn't it?
No. What's logic?
You can't do what's not possible. Wait, what is a limitation? Can you let me know what limitation is?
A limitation is just something that's like not within your ability to do, but like we're not considered limited.
Yeah, so something that's not possible is not within your ability to do.
Hold on. But you need to understand like proper like metaphysical understanding of things. Like, okay, we don't say a stone is lacking sight. It just doesn't have sight. It's not blind. A stone is not blind, Yanni. It's just not within its possibility. It's not possible. So we don't consider it lacking something. It's just not possible for it to have something there. So it's not
but we still think that there's a restriction in terms of logic. Like it can't have this property.
Right. Then also I would say
have this property. That's what restriction means.
Right, then I would say that like the stone would be restricted from sight. I mean, it seems like a fair claim. Like I just reject the notion of what you said.
No, I mean it's not. Once again, no. Because once again, what I'm saying is it doesn't lack sight because it's not in a stone's nature to have sight. So we need to understand like what like essence means for a thing. Each thing has an essence, a nature. these things are not within their nature. Like, it's not within our nature to fly as humans. So it's not like a random limit, but like we do have a limitation. But once again, that's explained by our essence, our nature, which is going to be explained
Are you
by
sure that we were limited from flying?
Hey,
in a sense.
Hey, also, I just want to say like one quick thing. Sophia, thank you for the Venmo. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't need to say that as well. Athena, thank you for the $50 Venmo, and also Midori, I appreciate it as well, and Maddie. But yo, W Athena in the chat, everyone. W Athena in the chat. ATHINA, everyone.
Yeah, but it's quite simple anyway. But the simple fact is because the per se chain here is dependent upon the essence, existence, distinction. The being that's going to explain it is not going to have an existence and essence distinction. It's going to be identical, which means that's going to be a being that's purely actuality. It's a being of pure act. So I mean, you can say that's just the being we're identifying with God, whatever.
Wait, so can you just like clarify what you mean by essence and existence then?
Essence is a whatness of a thing, that like what it is, and existence is that it exists.
Okay, so why is there not going to be a distinction between that it exists and what it exists when it relates to this independent entity?
Yeah, so because for every other being it's explained by another, and this first thing must be necessarily not explained by another. It cannot.
Oh, are you saying because it's necessary? Is that all you're saying it is?
No. Once again, listen. Okay, listen.
Like it has to exist?
No, not that it has to necessarily.
Or always existed?
Yeah, it's an eternal reality, but we'll get to that point.
So it's just eternal. If what you mean by this is just that it's eternal, right? We've already established that in the conversation.
Yeah, that's no. Once again, listen to what I'm saying, right? So because in virtue of the fact that every other thing in the chain has an existence, essence, distinction, that is because everything before it explains it. The first being, nothing explains it, right? Yeah.
All you're saying is that this is contingent. That's all you're saying, right?
No.
You're saying that those other things are contingent.
Yeah, but you need to listen to why listen to why this is the way. Because they're contingent, they're explained by something else, so they have limits, yani. This first being doesn't have limits and it cannot be explained. So nothing else brings it into being. So its existent essence cannot be separate from its essence cannot be separate from its existence. Nothing brings it into being. So they have to be identical.
Wait. So are you presupposing the PSR?
No, what are you talking about, the PSR?
All contingent things have an explanation.
I mean, they do.
Well, that's an assumption.
No,
right? You're just not accepting brute contingents.
No, I mean, I've given sufficient justification with my existence essence distinction.
No, but your existence essence distinction is just saying that there are some things in which are contingent, right? That you saying there are some things in which are contingent, right? Doesn't indicate to us that all things in which are contingent have an explanation.
No, I mean, we don't really need like all sorts of things. We're just talking about a sufficient cause of something's essence having existence. So that is alone enough for us to get back to
Cassandra, thank you for the cash app.
So
sorry, say that again.
I mean, once again, the existence essence distinction and following back the sufficient cause of a thing in a per se chain is sufficient to prove a necessary existence. I don't really need to explain other contingent things. That's sufficient.
Wait, that doesn't justify. And all you're describing to me is that there is a necessary being and that there are contingent beings, right? That's all. Necessary things and contingent things. That's all you're saying. Okay. You describing the notion in which there are necessary and contingent things does not entail here that the PSR is true. Okay.
I don't really need it to be. Like I'm saying, I don't really need it to be.
You do. You literally did there. You just relied upon it being true, that all contingent things have explanations or causes.
No, I explained that because there is a distinction between essence and... See, why you see what I'm saying? You keep skipping over my argument and just trying to boil it down, and you're being very reductionist. You actually address the particulars of my argument. So you're only existence, essence, distinction...
I am addressing the particulars. Don't act like I'm not.
You aren't. You're just boiling it down very like...
I literally am. I literally am.
Okay, so once again. So
you're getting a little defensive there, buddy.
I'm not, and don't try to psych me out, Yani. But listen, follow along, right?
Don't try to what?
Don't try to psych me out, is what I said. So anyway, follow along, right?
What do you mean psych you out?
You know what I mean. But anyway, follow along, right? So essence coming to existence is not explained by the thing itself. Essence does not explain its own existence. Your whatness doesn't explain your thatness, okay? So that means that something else outside of yourself, outside of your essence, explains that, okay? So that's causal dependency. So that's always going to go back, and it doesn't go back ad infinitum. It's a per se, not per accidens. Hence, I made the distinction in the first place. Some things in this world are per accidents. That's fine. But this is not.
But in that you're assuming that there needs to be an explanation. You're assuming the PSR in that.
No, I'm giving you that.
Yes, you literally just did. You literally just did that. You're assuming that there has to be some sort of sufficient reason.
No, what I'm saying to you is.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were.
Is that, okay, once again, we can deduce this very easy. Are there things in the world that exist with essences? Yes. Do they explain themselves? No. Is there then going to be a reason why they exist? Yes. Very simple.
Wait, actually, things that in which explain themselves are independent. So
Yeah,
you
but these
believe you
things
concede
don't
that by saying
explain
God
themselves.
exists.
No. I said these things, these essences, unless you want to explain to me how something's whatness, what it is, brings it to existence. Can you give me an example of that?
An example of like what something is. I never am making that claim. I don't know why you're even relating to that.
But what I'm saying is, to counter my point successfully, you have to counter the existence essence distinction, because that's still going to prove my per se series, which is then going to necessarily prove my God, and my God that is divinely simple because the existence and essence is identical.
I don't see that it, like by saying it's identical, right? You're saying that like they're both true simultaneously, or are you saying that like they are the exact same logically? Because I don't think that you would say what it is and that it exists is the same.
For God,
right,
yes,
logically, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so I think like I'm saying, so when we go on from a bit further from Aristotle in the world of philosophy, we get to a man called Plotinus, and Plotinus talks about the one, and he calls it an absolute simplicity. And later down the line, Muslim philosophers like Mullah Sadra, like Suwardi, like Ibn Sina, come with this idea of divine simplicity. So in our creed in Shia Islam, we affirm this view. We believe that God is absolutely simple, identical to all his acts and attributes, and the only thing that can be made distinct from God is his external relations. So Allah is power, is knowledge, is existence, is all such things that he is in his essence. All seeing, all knowing. Such things. And then he is the creator in his extrinsic relation of our real relation to him, so on and so forth. This is a very common view for the Christians, the Thomistic Aquinas followers in the Catholic tradition.
Well, yeah, Christians, they can't make sense of it because of the Trinity.
I mean, I actually could explain
you're just saying that they're...
But I won't. But I mean, I can explain to you. They just hold this view also of divine simplicity.
It's just monarchism?
No. So they're just going to say under divine simplicity, under the Thomistic view, that there is one essence. There are three persons that subsist in the one nature of God. They will share the essence. They are God through sharing that essence. They're going to be non-identical because they're opposing relations. So the Father knows himself, and that is the Son. The Son knows the Father. They love each other. That spirates. That's the Spirit. They have a whole justification.
So they do exist in parts then?
No, it's not parts.
If they're not identical, then they do exist in parts.
No, I mean, I'll bring you, if you want, I'll come back to this later at a future time. I'll bring one a Thomist, and you can discuss it with them. I'm a Muslim. I really don't really care about the Trinity that much, but I just
yeah, no, I know you don't, but
but I can definitely.
I don't see.
But yeah, I don't see. I've successfully proven my point, and I haven't really heard a successful rebuttal. So
I mean, like you're just.
I don't see how, right? Like again, saying that what it is the same as that it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't even see why that would be entailed.
Oh, because once again, I already explained this. So because it's not explained by anything prior to it, and everything else is explained by something prior to it, because it exists, essence and existence are distinct. For the thing that has no explanation, it's necessitated that they be identical. Because if it wasn't, then we haven't reached the
Wait, no. If it has no explanation, why is it identical?
Oh, once again, because if it isn't identical, then it has to have an explanation. So it has to be.
Wait, if it isn't identical, why does it have to have an explanation?
Because once again, if the existence and essence are distinct and they're separate, then that needs an explanation for its essence coming to existence.
That's the PSR. That's the PSR.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's actually the PSR. That's actually what I was saying. He's assuming the PSR there.
He's over. He's okay. Here's what he's doing. He's over complicating the cosmological argument.
This is actually called
One second.
This is not This is not. This is called the De Ente argument by Thomas Aquinas. Actually.
Well, I mean, no. It's just you're just taking like Aristotelian ethics and implying them
metaphysics.
Aristotelian metaphysics. My fault. And implying them as justification towards the idea of a necessary contingency.
Yeah, so I'm using logical proofs and deduction.
Can you refute the PSR?
I mean, I don't really need to. All I've given you is like sufficient reasoning to believe that essences don't explain their own existence. So in virtue of that fact, they're going to be explained by something else. That's fine. That's clearly evident. If you have an actual,
No. You said if they are distinct, right? They require an explanation, right?
Yeah,
If
so
they're not
I've
identical,
proven that,
right? And
yeah.
that's the PSR because you're saying
Yeah.
that because when you're saying that they're not that they're not identical, you're essentially saying that they're contingent, right? So if you're
Yeah.
just saying that contingent things require explanation, that is literally what the PSR is.
No, I'm saying the essences require explanations.
The essences require explanations. The what it is requires an explanation. No, that the existence would require the explanation, right?
Yeah. So once again, I'm explaining to you once again. So you need to follow because you can say, "Oh, PSR, this whatever." Listen, yeah, Annie, I've given you an example. The essences, unless you can explain to me how an essence comes to existence through its essence, through its whatness, then you haven't responded to my argument.
I don't see how I would have to do that.
Well, then you can't respond to my argument.
No. Tell me why I have to do that.
Because once again, the very simple fact that essences don't explain themselves just proves they rely on another thing to be explained. So you can say PSR whatever, the fact still remains.
So just because things... no, but now you're assuming that it requires an explanation, right? You're just assuming brutes cannot exist, right? But under your view, like, it's going to be a brute fact that God has the desire to create humans in this particular way rather than creating other types of entities.
That's not true. I'm not.
So you are going to have to hold to some notion of brutes.
That's not true. I don't hold the view that God
is.
No, it's not true. Right, that's not true. I don't know who told you that.
I didn't. That's just going to be true. Do you want to actually respond to it and just instead of saying it's not true, can you respond to it? Give me a reason why.
You haven't actually responded to anything I've said. Like you just asked me what's your
question.
I
have. I literally responded to everything you've said.
Yeah, so that's why I asked you because you're basically saying that they can just exist. So I asked you to explain like how. Like just explain. Like give me an explanation.
What can exist?
Once again, you're saying that they can just be brute facts, but like once again, essences come into the world and get their particular forms and essences from people. So like we make things into their forms. We make tables. We make paintings, TVs.
Okay, so that would be a composition fallacy for you to say because some things are cause, that means all things are cause.
And that's not what I'm saying. Once again, I'm not talking about all things. I'm just talking about a particular type of cause, the efficient cause. I'm not talking about all things. I'm talking about the efficient cause, which is one of the four causes that Aristotle lists.
What do you mean the efficient cause?
So I mean the thing that gives the essence existence.
Oh, you're just talking about the essence.
Yeah. So once again, like I'm telling you, so a wood is the material cause of a table, but there is an efficient cause. Something that makes a table is essences. That's what makes it what it is. It's whatness. That's what an essence is. It's whatness. But a whatness doesn't explain its own existence. Whatness has no power in bringing about existence. So it needs...
Is the whatness the concept, or is the whatness going to be like characteristics that would be within it?
It can be particular and it can be universal. Like we can have very broad things. Like okay, take a man for example. Okay, they have the essence. They can have the essence of whiteness. They can have the essence of tallness, shortness. A table can have the essence of roundness, squareness. All sorts of different things, yeah, and universal.
So that would be okay. So it's conceptual and physical.
Yeah, it exists in instrumental reality.
Okay, but like, so we'd have to make that distinction as well, right? So conceptually, whatness? How does that? And why would I have to argue that somehow the whatness would describe that it is? Right. If I am responding to your argument, I'm confused.
No. What I'm saying is that because a whatness doesn't explain its having existence, that the essence has existence is not explained by itself, which breaks the per accidens and give us a per se, which gives us the sort of causal series we need to get back to the necessary existent, that are mover. That's the point. So you have to break the distinction to break the argument.
Yeah, I actually didn't get what you just said. Can you say that again? That honestly didn't make any sense to me.
You know, I think I've explained it enough. I think you do get it. I'll be real. I think you do. But I'll give it
I literally just told you I don't. I'm like literally trying to genuinely engage with this.
So once again, one more time. The essence does not
like low key. Did anyone in the live understand that at all? Anyone?
Man,
can anyone make sense of it? Are we in the Appalachian Mountains right now?
I have like a little bit of an understanding of the nuances of metaphysics to some degree, but it's like I'm not tracking you, man.
I mean, maybe you guys just need to pick up a few,
Well,
metaphysics
I'm
books.
confused by some of your terminology because Aristotle talks about substance versus essence. He talks about ousia versus the tikon and iona. So, I mean,
So this distinction comes a bit later from later Aristotelian philosophers
okay,
like
so
Ibn
it's not
Sina.
so it's not particular to Aristotle's metaphysics then.
Well, I mean, it's part of the Aristotelian tradition.
No, it's a later edition. You're saying so. You're saying it's not the ousia, it's not the tito inia as Aristotle talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. When we say it's part of like Aristotle's metaphysics, we just mean it in like a general sense of the tradition.
Well,
So
hold on. I was going off the assumption that you're literally talking about Aristotle's book on metaphysics.
I mean, I don't know why.
That's like saying that. That's like saying that Marxian philosophy, the way it is now, would describe it, right? Like the Marxist view, right, rather than Marx himself. I don't see that.
All Aristotelians are doing are extracting like this from his work. So I mean, Ibn Sina and Thomas Aquinas are both big proponents and users of this.
Well, I know, but that's why I'm trying to get at because all you mentioned is Aristotle, which is why I was confused when you never once mentioned substance, and then you go on to mention the four causes, and you mentioned two of them, but then you confuse the efficient cause with the formal cause.
No,
the formal cause is the essence. The efficient cause is the source of the change.
On that one, I do swap them around, but the point still remains.
But that's why. See, you're mixing up Aristotle with later. You have to give us the particular author that you're talking about, because Aristotle's metaphysics is different than these other authors.
That doesn't really do anything. Okay, you understand this is a red herring, right? Like, Yanni, regardless of whether this is true, this doesn't actually address the point of the argument. You're just now reapping.
No, it does.
No, we couldn't even make sense of the argument. Like I don't even know what you're referring to. You didn't even explain it again.
You don't understand, like, Yanni, like.
Yeah, that's why I asked you to explain it again. If you're not willing to explain it again, no one's gonna be able to understand what you're saying.
Well, once again, it's quite simple. The essence does not explain its existence in the world. The whatness coming to be.
So its whatness does not explain, like the roundness of a particular like ball does not explain that it exists.
Yeah.
Okay. So why does the whatness of God, the all-knowing, explain that God exists?
Well, we'll get there through the causal chain, right? So that's the point. So because that thing coming to be with that whatness is going to be explained by something else, and thereby the essence exists in the world, it's going to get caused by something else. It's dependent. That's going to have a per se chain. That's going to have to necessarily rest in a necessary existence. And then because
you're honestly just saying words. I don't even know what you're saying. You're just like you're literally just like putting words together. I didn't even think that was a coherent sentence.
I mean, it is. I can explain every word. So a per se series.
Go for it.
Per se series is just a chain in which things depend upon another to come to exist. Okay. So, and then once I'm saying, so the causal chain arrests means it has to stop in a place. A per se series has to stop in a place. As I made the distinction at the very start, per exodons, per se. Right? So, from that, we have to get back to a necessary existent. Now, this first cause has
Wait, why?
That's what the per se series demands.
Okay, so that's the concept, but why does that concept have to be held to?
I mean, once again, if you didn't, then nothing would exist now.
Why?
Well, simply nothing would.
That's you assuming that it's logically necessary.
I mean,
right? Because of infinite regression, huh?
No, well, infinite regression is only possible under certain types of causal series. That's why I made the distinction at the very beginning.
Under certain types of what?
Only under certain types of causal chains. If you want to just do a quick Google search for me, just look up a per exodons versus per se.
Yeah. So what particular cycle chains?
So not cycle. I mean causal chains. So I want you to look up per exodons.
Causal chains. I mean.
Yeah, per exodons versus per se. You're gonna see what I'm saying is true. What I'm talking about, the distinction is true. You can probably even look up.
So can you spell that for me real quick?
Which one? Per exodons is PER space ACC.
PES space.
No, PER.
PER.
Yeah, space ACC.
ACC.
I think it's just put
ACCIDENS.
Yeah, that's it. Per exodons.
IDENS.
I think it's in origin.
Verse per se. Okay.
Remember some of the men.
Oh my gosh! It just went into maps.
I mean, I would love to actually bring you guys a Thomists. I would love to bring you guys a Thomists because I know they would love to talk to you about the Trinity.
Yeah, sure, I'll talk to them.
They're serious though. They even scare me. Now. They're serious people, bro. Serious people.
Dude, I'm not scared.
Nah, man, I would be scared, bro.
Nah. I mean, if you want to get into, I mean, I don't have time right now, but if you'd like to at some point get into like the problem of evil.
Oh, well, the problem of
I'd
evil
love to get into that.
Isn't really a problem because you're going to assume that we take evil as a substance, but we're not going to take evil as a substance. We're going to take it as a privation. So God.
Yeah, I know. I've heard this. I've already heard this.
So God does not create evil, but people deprive themselves of goodness. So yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah, so I don't see how that answers the problem of evil.
Yeah, he can make people deprive
because it is the case that like yeah.
So once again, so the problem of evil, the really only successful problem of evil that works is that it proves that God is not a morally perfect being because he creates a substance known as evil. That's the point of the argument.
Wait, that doesn't that debunk your point then?
No, because
if you concede that God is not morally perfect and then you think God is perfect, there's a contradiction.
No, that's the point, because the whole point of the argument, I used to be an atheist, that used to be one of my favorite arguments, but the whole point of the argument is, Annie, is that you're trying to prove that God created a substance known as evil. He created real evil in the world, and by which he is then not morally perfect. We're saying that he did not create any moral evils, but through the free good acts.
Yeah, because you're saying it's all necessary, right?
No, everything's contingent. Everyone has free will. We believe in an indeterministic.
No, not in that sense. Not in that sense. I'm not saying in that sense. I'm talking in like it's necessary for greater good.
No,
it's required for greater good, not in terms of like it requires explanation.
I think the gift of free will is good. That's what I'm going to say. The gift of free will is good in itself, to give us free will to choose. I mean, once again, people can then deprive themselves of God's goodness. God has sent his messengers. He sent his prophets. He sent his imams. May peace and blessings be upon them all. What people can listen or not listen. People can be guided.
I have a question. Can I do the right thing today? Like, can I just choose not to sin today?
You could, yeah.
I can, right?
Yeah.
Could I choose not to sin tomorrow?
You can, yeah.
Could I do that? Is that true every single day?
Yes, moderately possible.
Okay. So if that's true every single day, well, then there's going to be a particular expression of my free will in which I always choose to do the right thing, right? From the infinite set of possible worlds that could exist, there's at least one world in which I choose to do the right thing in every single scenario, completely freely.
Okay. So you see, the reason why we're going to reject this sort of notion that you're going to go towards is we're not really going to accept that God causes the world deterministically, because that's going to entail a modal collapse, and we're not going to accept a modal collapse. We're not necessitarians. So we're going to say that the causation of all things is indeterministic. So we're not going to say God chose these things particularly in the world. That's not how we're going to say God created.
So you're saying it has to be randomly selected?
Yeah, it's kind of random. Like, I don't want to put it too. It's not random.
Kind of random. That doesn't make any sense then.
Kind of random. Like, it's not.
Unless it's random, right? Then what do you mean by indeterministic?
Well, we just mean that God didn't how do I put it? This is really techie metaphysical stuff. But what I want to say is basically God doesn't create the world and say it will be this way. That's not how it was. Yani. God leaves the essences, the possibilities.
So it's random.
No, not random, but God puts out the essence.
It would have to be random for you to be able to get around this.
No.
So God didn't have prior knowledge of individuals' actions?
That's a different question. God has all knowledge of all things before they come to be. That doesn't mean he caused it to come to be in that regard.
Right.
He's the cause of all things, particular essences coming to be. He's not the cause of all their actions, though.
So is it random?
Danny has a pretty good refute for that.
I mean, free will is completely random. Yeah, people can do what they want with free will.
Ryan, thank you for the fruits.
No. So what do you mean by indeterministic? Do you mean random, or what do you mean?
No, we just mean that God wasn't deterministic in creation. He didn't determine how everything was exactly going to be. He just put.
So you believe in libertarian free will? You believe there are no prior causes?
No, it's compatibilism.
Wait, wait, what do you mean? How is that wait. What?
We're compatibilists, but indeterministic.
You're like a soft determinist.
No, it's okay. Indeterministic.
Soft determinism is compatibilism.
Okay, no. Listen, Annie, understands what I'm saying. Indeterministic causation comes down to the principle of how we believe God created the universe. So we believe God created the universe in one divine act. Okay, there's one act. There's a cause of all things. Second act, which is the effect, time, space, matter, form. All these things indeterministically come to be. They could have been. They could have not been. Yani, there's possibility there. In the temporal, in the contingent existence.
I'm asking what indeterministic means. Like I'm trying to clarify that.
It just means that there's possibility in what exists from the cause.
Okay. So you're saying it's contingent.
No, I'm saying what comes from the cause could be one way, could be another way. So they are.
So it's probabilistic in some sense, right? Like it could have been this way, it could have been the other way.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing that. That's still that contingency can still exist. While there's also again free good, like you just freely engage in good in every single scenario.
Yeah, but that has to be a choice for the individual that's been given the free choice.
Yeah, but like for example, if God gives them like here I'll ask you this: if God gives them like a nature in which is all good, right? It could be their choice, but they can't choose to do something that's against their nature, right? In the same way that God couldn't do something to go against his nature. So couldn't there still be a sense of free will, even if God necessarily makes it so that it's a part of their nature?
I mean, we do believe, as Muslims, I don't know if you've ever heard, we believe in the fitrah, so we believe there is an inherent nature in which everyone's born to know God and to seek God and to wish to follow his laws and commandments and his prophets and so on and so forth. So we do believe that nature is there and it's just corrupted by the world. That's why Islamic societies, Sharia, is very important, for us that we have Islamic society like Iran and Imam Khomeini.
No, but it wouldn't be like a flawless nature, right? Because then it couldn't be corrupted.
Sure. Well, we don't. Once again, the only flawless nature is God. So like, we're not gonna have a flawless.
I would actually expect there to be. I would expect there to be like a flawless, like. Well, we could also have this. Like, if you're saying that God's perfect, right? Given a perfect test taker, what would you expect to see? Like, what would be entailed?
I don't see how that question. What does that question mean? I don't get it.
Yeah. Given a perfect test taker, what is entailed?
I mean, God doesn't take tests; He gives them.
I'm not talking about God right now.
I mean, we're not perfect test takers. We have like free will.
I never said we were. I'm just asking.
Well, if you're a perfect test taker, then you'll pass the test. But I'm
talking like in school.
Yeah, you'll pass the test if you revise, and only God gave you the.
You pass it? No, you get 100% on your test scores, right?
Sure, but I mean,
okay. To move around, you expect to see what is entailed.
Yeah, perfect.
And there's 9.5 million jobs that are filled. Most of them, 80%.
Perfect. Right? There's nothing.
The creation is perfect. Are we created by God?
Yeah.
Are we perfect?
Yeah, like we're perfect.
We are perfect?
In a sense, yeah. Not like.
So Hitler's perfect?
That's a terrible argument. But yeah, Hitler's
question, yes or no?
Yeah, okay. Well, this is what you need to understand.
Terrible argument doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, okay. Maybe if you let me explain a few principles here, we'll understand what we're saying. So, okay, you need to understand that first, existence itself, giving us existence is good. Giving us the ability to have joy, pleasure, all these things are good. Yeah, and we need to start here, right? Okay? So things start good. Now, a human can be deprived. And Hitler's actually a great example of a human who deprives himself of God so much. In his deep, dark atheism, he genocides people. Yeah, and this is someone who deprived himself of God so far, the hand of God removed from his heart. This is the reality. So Hitler. Do
you remember what my question was? I actually don't even remember.
You asked me if Hitler was perfect. Hitler's not.
Yeah. So is he? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. So everyone is perfect in this.
Yes or no?
In the sense, once this is, we need to make a distinction.
And in sense, just say yes or no.
Once again.
So Hitler is perfect.
In the sense that he exists, yes. Not in the sense of his particular.
Yeah. So, okay. So what do you mean by in the sense that he exists?
Well, all things that exist to have being is good.
So you're saying it's perfect for him to exist in a sense that he could be able to commit mass genocide?
Well, I don't think you understand. We don't hold to the principle that God has to create a perfect creation. God just can't create a creation where evil is greater.
Wait, actually, you just did. Wait, you said perfect creator entails perfect creation.
No, I didn't.
That's what you did say.
No, well, I don't hold to that. That's not what I'm saying.
You did accept that earlier. Now you're going back on that.
No, I mean, it's not really like you're not really giving me a metaphysical principle. You were kind of just running through like a semantic.
You already accepted it.
No, I mean, it's not.
You can move the goalpost. It's fine, buddy.
I mean, sure, if you want to call it that. I'm just saying that's not really a
metaphysical principle. You actually did.
No, I mean, I asked you what was the point of the question. I wasn't like.
And you accepted it.
I mean, I was just running through.
That's tough, dude. That's tough, dude. You realized it. Fuck you, dude.
No, don't play games. Bro. Well, I can.
No, what do you mean? Don't play games? You accepted it. Don't. Don't even just walk past the fact that you accepted it, dude. That's so disingenuous, bro.
I can sit here and say, Wallahi aladim. I was just following your weird thought experiment along. I wasn't agreeing to some metaphysical understanding. Don't.
Okay, so you're not engaging genuinely then? Isn't that disingenuous then? Isn't that necessarily deception? Wait, that's a sin under your view. That's deception.
Stop being silly.
That's deception.
Anyway, let's get back to the point, right? So yeah, Annie.
Dean, oh my God.
The point is this, right? It's quite simple. We don't have to say that when God creates, it has to be perfect. We don't really have to say that. We just have to say that, Annie, that it's good, more good than bad. That's it. That's all we have to say. God is more than fine to create something that universe.
More good than bad? No, you don't. No, but the bad isn't necessary, right? If the bad isn't necessary, well, then it is the case that it wouldn't be justified, right?
Well, yeah,
for you to do this.
Yeah, but evil, once again, is just a privation. It's a lack of goodness. Okay, Annie, when you say someone is blind, is that a positive item in the world? Is blindness something that exists in the world, or is it a lack of something?
Sure, you could say it's a lack of vision, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a negative object. It doesn't really exist. It's a lack of something existing. Your evil, Annie, is a lack of good existing. It's not something in it.
I know your privation theory.
It's not a theory. It's defensible.
It's a theory.
It's not. So once again, you're talking about Aristotle.
What do you mean by theory, dude? Privation. Oh my God. Whatever. It definitely is a theory.
Theory. Like theories are true, right? Like the theory of gravity. That's true.
Right? That's scientific theory. I'm talking theory in a different sense.
You're using it univocally. If the theory is just an explanation of how something works.
I'm using it in a colloquial sense, right? Like the way I'm using theory in this sense is just going to be like
a hypothesis.
That's how I'm using it in this sense. It's not because I'm not relating to a scientific theory.
Yeah, it's not hypothesis. As I gave you a real life example of a privation, so it's not hypothesis.
Wait, it is though.
It's not
hypothesis for it to apply to the morals. Yeah, it is. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's waffle.
So I was relating to like theory in the sense that we have like moral and ethical theory, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this is the general position of like any like divine simplist. So you're not really gonna find anyone who believes the same thing in absolute divine simplicity saying anything else.
Okay. Well, I am. What's it called? I do have to like get going at some point. I am doing stuff and I have like some sort of timeline. Would you want to like come on my live either another time or come on like my YouTube and we can go way further into this at some later date?
I would love to discuss. I mean, if you'd like to just go through what I think are the weakest or strongest arguments of God, and we'll see which one.
Yeah, we can go like way further because I mean, otherwise we're gonna be here for like the next like few hours debating this, and I don't want to keep Dean and whatnot them like waiting, and then also I do have to go be able to eat at some point.
Sure. I'll jump out in just a quick second, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Speaker's Corner. If you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's quite a popular place in London, in the UK.
It's where like it's the place where they go and debate and.
Yeah. Speaker's Corner, yeah.
Yes, so I know what it is.
It's 4:30 a.m. I was supposed to go there tomorrow, but
just don't sleep. It's okay.
I'll see. I've got Fajr in like an hour in it. We'll see. But anyway, it's been.
You'll have fun. Seriously, I followed you, so you DM me back, and then we can go like way further into it.
Sure. No,
for sure, man.
All right.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
Honestly, he'd be great for the YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, that conversation can go so deep with him.
Yeah. I was just sitting back and listening, and I really enjoyed it. I even got myself some milk and cookies.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that looked kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, Matt, you wanted to say something real quick because we are about to like go over to the battles.
I was flashing it. It was a joke. A joke. So.
Oh, this guy.
It was a joke. Oh, but hey, make your announcement about the vaccine thing.
Oh yeah. By the way, everyone, we just have set up the bibliography. We have to sort it and whatnot. Matt did actually. It's 33 pages long about vaccinations. So we're going to be running the vaccine topic probably here pretty soon.
Let's go.
So I'm excited for that one. But the bibliography is fucking massive, chat. It's massive, 33
and
pages.
It's not even done yet because I have to go through, sort it, and then what I do is I'm going to add to it after I get it sorted. So once I get it sorted, I'll continue.
It's unbelievable, chat. It's unbelievable.
So-
Also, chat, holy fuck, 30K shares is actually cracked. But yeah, that's actually nuts, everyone. But yeah, Matt, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, bruv.
Matt, have a good night.
All right.
Also,
all right. Go ahead.
my main account. I just wanted to say this.
Got it
So
back?
the appeal went through. It went back. I get every single night. It has been every single night for the last 2 weeks, and every single night the appeal has went through.
That's good at least. Good at least you get it back. But again, everyone, we're going to be going over to the second account right now. Well, Dean's going to stay on this account, and we are going to be doing live battles. So if you do want to come support us, everyone, make sure to come through Parker Get a Bible, or you can go to just to like Dean's account here. And we are going to be doing live battles right now. I'm going to be going over there right now and doing that. So if you do want to come support us, everyone, make sure to do that. We're going to be over there for a little bit, everyone. So again, if you do want to come through and see the battles, everyone, make sure to do that right now. I will be on tomorrow around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm guessing. We will be doing the Israel-Palestine conversation in the future. I don't know the particular day when we're going to do that. I have to set it up with like people and stuff. So make sure to look out for that. But yeah, go ahead. Is there anything else?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to be going live on this account, doing some live battles with Parker. So if you've enjoyed the debates today, make sure to swing by. They're always a good time. And they're always quite competitive as well. Parker, thank you so much for letting me come up, co-host, hang out, and debate with you here on your platform today. And everyone in chat, I appreciate all of your times as well. I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. And I'll see you momentarily, Parker.
All right, for sure. See you then. All right, everyone. Love everyone so much. We're gonna get off here for tonight. Go over to the second account, Parker Get a Bible, do a Parker raid. We're gonna be there in literally 30 seconds. Okay, everyone. Parker raid onto the second account, Parker Get a Bible. Everyone, go right now. Go.